Good evening, beautiful ladies, wonderful gentlemen. Good evening, beautiful ladies, wonderful gentlemen, boys and girls. You tuned into Icy Dawn, aka the Ultimate Trolling Warrior, Black Power. You know what it is. Also, Don M, the FDMG Boogieman. How are you doing this evening, folks? 6 p.m. It's about 6:06. Thank you for tuning in. I have a little interesting evening for you. I just don't even know what I'm going to be talking about. What the topic is? It's a doc. What's my topic today? It's not Lennon, right? It's Dr. Umar Johnson. You know that guy, right? Oh yeah. The question that I was having a nightmare too was, do he really want to open the school? And I was watching one of my videos, and then after my video, his video came on. You know, it's kind of weird. His video came on right after mine, and I didn't get a chance to skip it. So it was actually an interview that he did. And I couldn't, I remember watching it, but about 4 years ago or so, but I couldn't remember if I watched the entire video. So I went back and allowed it to play, which made me think, let me do this live stream, folks. This is a very important live stream, and I want you guys to follow me with this live stream. It's an open panel, open discussion, but I just want you to follow me with this live stream and really truly take time out to listen to the words that's coming out my mouth and not the words that you heard from before. And I ain't talking about from my mouth, but I'm just talking about for everything else. I want you to follow me because I'm going to do a true analyzation of this. I don't want to be on those Steve Smith, Allen, whatever his name is, Steve Smith. I don't want to be like him. I want to be more so like Don Murray. I want to give it to you point blank strong. You know what I'm saying? Because do this dude really want to open up the school? Do Dr. Umar want to open up his school? Thank you for tuning in, folks. Like I say, this is going to be an open panel. I'm just going to be going back and forth. And when you guys, ready to holler, I'll drop the link. But like I said, this is going to be very interesting. I also have another topic I'm going into tomorrow, and I'm going to be doing a series on it. I don't know how many parts I'm going to do. Might be all the way up leading up to my court case, but I'm going to be breaking down this one live stream. It's very important to break this live stream down too, because this live stream, actually, like I say, I was in the spirit world just and something just clicked and just made me check something out real quick. And so when I came across it, it was part 13 of Lennon Honors some shit, I can't remember. I'll let you know tomorrow though. But yes, indeed, this is a good one. And it was beautiful because it was coming in at June, I believe June 8th, 2018. June 8th, 2018. That's when he did this live stream. I want you, and when I go into this live stream, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I just want to build it up so you guys, when after you watch this one, you tune in tomorrow, you really pay attention to full details. Look at how he was looking. He was looked defeated. He was looking distraught, down and out. Money flow wasn't coming in like that. That's a good one to check out, folks. But like I say, we're gonna have some fun tonight. So we have a few people in the building. Like I said, I'm gonna enjoy you guys tonight. We're gonna entertain each other tonight. And hold on. I hope this is loud enough too. You know what I'm saying? I hope this is loud enough.
Dr. Umar Johnson, welcome to Vlad TV. Thank you. Glad to be here. Absolutely. Big fan of your.
All right. So yes, I'm using the videotape from Mr. Vlad TV. Vlad TV. I believe this is taped in New York City. This is when Umar was on fire. And then this is when Umar also caught some heat. So this was very interesting. This interview right here was extremely interesting. Yeah, this was in 2016. So this is around time when came across him. I came across him at the end. This is, came up here October 7th. I met him in December. And I seen the shirt that he got on. I seen a whole bunch of those. Yeah, but like I said, this right here is the interview that we're going to break down, folks. We're going to take time and break down this interview to truly analyze this man's words. And the reason why this interview is probably going to be one of the best interviews to really understand this big-headed man and his mind, and to understand how everything really, and I told y'all, and this is why it's really crazy, because when I came to this interview and I briefly watched, and I watched maybe like 20 minutes of it or so, and I said, okay, I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna analyze it with the people. So I can't remember much. I'm gonna do it with you folks, and we're gonna make this a little series as well. I'm gonna do, maybe, matter of fact, this is gonna be part one. Do Umar Johnson really want to open the school? And I'm gonna do this as well. I'm gonna do this and Leonard Arnold leading all the way up into the court date. Do Umar Johnson really want to open the school, taking a personal black on black crime issue and bring it to the white courts? Do he really want to open up this school? That's the question, you know what I'm saying? That I'm looking at. But you guys are looking at another level. I'm saying to myself, do he really want to open the school? Because do he know what he's doing? Do he really know what he's doing by bringing all of this shit to the courts? Because all this shit is going to the court. Because there's no way in life that a judge is not going to do her investigation on the man. For her to sit there and not take time out to figure out what's this school that's in her county, in her district, for her not to take time out, you know what I'm saying? That's like a no. I don't believe that she's going to just sit back and not investigate. Because when I was contacted by, the people in the course, they said that they do know of Umar, and they do know that all he do is, post videos. So they in the courthouse know that he posts videos. So they want to know who he is, and this is honestly, I have a letter that I want to read, but someone told me don't read it, you know what I'm saying, because it's really personal with the court case. But Oh, that was funny. My bad, folks. I had everything on mute, but it's all good because I can rewind everything for you. I apologize. That's a laugh. Ha ha, he he, ho ho. You know what I'm saying? My bad. I actually put it on mute. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, because I had a cough. I apologize. That was funny because I looked, I said, why everybody disappearing? Then I said, oh, shit, my shit on mute. So that was really funny. But no one let me know that they couldn't hear me in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Why no one say, hey, Don, we don't hear you? That sucks. You know what I'm saying? You guys really, really do an excellent job with me over here. Nobody say, hey, Don, you are mute. We cannot hear you. But right here, I have some paperwork, and I just want to read a line in this paperwork because it's really hilarious because I'm trying to figure out, do Umar really want this school? And before I even go into this live, in this interview, because this was a really good interview, and like I say, I want everybody to understand this interview have over 1 million views, and this interview is the interview to truly diagnose Umar Johnson. Okay. So for every single person who has questions on Umar Johnson, this interview is the interview to truly know where this man's mind is, what is wrong with him, and what he really want to do. And we're gonna break this interview down. But like I said, the whole topic is, do he really want to open the school? Because what I have right here, and this letter was the reason why my default case was denied. You know what I'm saying? I got denied. But I think it's all because the judge is really, really much intrigued. Because if you guys, like I said, if you guys are pretty much, you know what I'm saying, like entertained by Umar Johnson, and if you guys are entertained by Lennon Anna, who's entertained by Umar Johnson, if this judge took time out to look into the life of she would truly realize, whoa, I'm going to deny this because I want to see what this is really about. I want to understand what this man's about, because I'm gonna read you one line in this paper. Okay, I'm gonna read you one line. This is the court. You know, the court state. You know why this is. You know, his answer. This the defendant answer of why he missed the That's what I'm saying. I just know that this the judge really want to know what the hell this is all about, because she could have really just not, she didn't have to deny me, but I think she denied me just so that she could, like I say, she could really see and hear this man live in the flesh, because she could easily just gave me and rewarded me my bread off of this letter alone. But I'm gonna read one line in it. It says, Mr. Murray was a volunteer who was struggling financially. Okay. He starts off that I was a volunteer who was struggling financially. Now, with that being, you know, saying, with that being said, me as a judge looking at my letter that I sent to him, like I said to you, I'm going to look and see where my letter is at, because I want to compare both letters. Matter of fact, I think it should be right here. Hold on one second. It should be right here. I hope it is, folks. I hope it's right here, because if my letter's right here, I don't have a problem reading my letter to you folks, because this is the letter I wrote to the court. So here you go. Think of my letter. The topic today for this live stream is, do Umar really want to have the school? Do he really want the school? Do he really want the school? Okay. So I'm gonna read my letter real briefly. And this was December 14th last year, because I missed the court date, and I had to write the court a letter of why, I missed the court date. Now that's why I wrote my letter. Now he had to write his letter of why. You know what? I think I'm gonna even apologize. I'm gonna apologize big time, maybe. And you know why? Because this letter I have right here. Oh yeah, because okay, now I understand. When I had court, okay, I'm remembering everything now. When I had court, I was like, no, I didn't receive the paperwork I was supposed to receive from this dude because he was supposed to send me some paperwork, but he don't have my address. So I didn't receive it. So the court, she said she's gonna mail, his answer to, to the courts of my, my civil action. So this was his answer to my civil action. Okay, so this wasn't, the answer to why he missed the court date, but this was the answer to the civil action. So I put the civil action in, and this was his response. And he says, but it says answer defendant was denied. That's deep. I gotta figure out what this paper is about because I was looking at this paper differently, but I had to really look at the date, and I'm like, that's October 14th. I'm looking at my date. Mine's is December 14th. So I'm like, no, this is a different letter. So, but it says denied. So I wonder why it was denied. But he said, that's what I'm trying to tell you. She definitely wanted to get in his ass. I can tell now. He said, Mr. Murray was a volunteer who was struggling financially. And mind you, this letter was written from a third party. So it wasn't written by Umar. It was written by his lawyer. I believe that it was his lawyer. Maybe it was Tiffany, but I'm going to believe it was his lawyer. You know what I'm saying? So he said that Mr. Murray was a volunteer who was struggling financially. Now I'm gonna play this I'm gonna play this interview and be breaking it down because, like I say, do he really want to open a school? Because his words is, I was volunteering at school and I was struggling financially. So as a woman, as a mother, as a judge, I'm saying to myself, you opening up a school in my county, and you saying that your school is going to be based on African education and religion and culture, and you have a brother that you said was struggling, and he was struggling financially and volunteering at your school, and he's in the court right now saying that you owe him some money. Well, if he was struggling financially and he was volunteering at your school, why didn't you give him some money? So that's just going to be the question that anybody would ask. Why would you have this man up at your school? You raising money all over across the country, and he's struggling financially, and he has keys to your building up in your school, and he's volunteering his time just for sleeping on the floor. Like, this woman really want to know now. Like I said, this court case right here is going to be something good for Delaware. Like they probably had a few court cases, but this one is going to be interesting for Delaware. You guys really sitting back and you're playing games, but Delaware has a court case, a court date. And it's really Delaware against Umar Johnson because they really want to know who the hell is this man that think he gonna put this school in a community that we about to gentrify. You understand what I'm saying? The people already saying they ready to gentrify the community. We ready to get rid of all these little Negroes all up in this neighborhood. We want to get rid of everything over here. We about to just make this shit a city because you guys got to understand, in Philadelphia, when I came out here back in 2008, 2007, 2008, I came out here back then, and the rent was like really low. In 2022, I could see that the rent went up, and it's so funny because I was actually calling around and inquiring about rent from different places, and one place had a rent for like $750, right, for I think it was a 2-3 bedroom spot. I'm like, what the fuck? So I called him up, and he said, yeah, he still had it. And so I was like, I was the next thing he said he's gonna call me back, and so when he hit me back, when I called him back, he says, well, right now the market, with the market, I can't do it for that price. I'm like, you put the ad out there. You put the ad out there. So it's just amazing. Like I'm trying to tell you. So Delaware is doing the same. But if like I'm saying, black folks, it's like Bitcoin right now. Land is like Bitcoin. Land is like Bitcoin. If you do not get it now, it's over. I remember 20 some years ago when in Florida, they was really building up in Florida. About 25 years ago in Florida, they was really real. I don't know what the hell was going down there in Florida, but it was really sad where they was doing a lot of advertising all throughout the East Coast in regards to like buy land in Florida and build your own home on the land that you have with the loan and everything that they give you. But you had to buy the land, you put the deposit down, you get the land, about a few acres of land. And that was for years, and it's still around. The same business is still around. But the price of what it was back then was dirt cheap. And now it went up a few $1000s. You know what I'm saying? It's still cheap, it's still a good thing, but it went up a few $1000s. And what I'm just trying to tell you, land is like Bitcoin. If we do not get it now, we are really doomed. And that's why I'm saying to you guys, do Umar Johnson really want this school? Because if he did really want the school, he would not be giving these white people with the power structure the opportunity to do anything that to harmful to his structure. So now let's go to this whole Vlad TV. I got to tell you one more line. Let me tell you one more line. I'm gonna tell you one more line in this right here. Let me tell you one more line, folks, because I do need your support, because this is his lawyer. His lawyer wrote this. Okay, this wasn't this. I mean, he told him and everything, but this is his lawyer words, because I'm looking at his third party, because the person said Mr. Johnson. It wasn't. It's like who called himself Mr. Johnson, and that's who you are. You know what I'm saying? So I knew it was a third party. So let me just give you one more line, because I do need your help and your support. I go to court sometime next month, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if let's just say I do not get my money and I have to pay a lawyer, you know, get me up out of jail, I do need your help and support, period. So if he feels he can spend money on a lawyer to not pay me, how disrespectful is that, folks? Do he really want his school? We're gonna go to his words, but my whole thing is, do he really want his school, folks? You guys can attack him all you want. You can attack the HVAC all you want. And this is real talk. This ain't no disrespect to nobody. You guys can do 100,000 videos on the HVAC. But when it boils all down to it, do any one of you guys, who would you rather have in your business? The judge in the court in the county in which you're trying to put your establishment, or people on YouTube? Now, I'm going to go into this Vlad and this Vlad interview, and I'm going to give it to you of like his words of why he went to school. But before that, I'm going to give you one more line. It says, damn, do I give you that line? Yo, every line is bananas. Okay, every line is bananas. The Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey International Leadership Academy. Yo, like I said, I mean, like, yo, I'm not lying to you folks. It's not, you know, I could do a few lines. I can I can I give you two more lines? Can I give you two more lines? No, I ain't gonna give you no more lines. Y'all don't want no more lines. Y'all don't want to hear that shit. I ain't gonna bother y'all with that. Let's go to the video. I really want to give you a line, y'all. Mr. Murray, what's... Oh, no, I'm not going to say that. It has been learned recently that... Oh, man, I'm not going to say that. Oh, my Lord. Like I said, I'm just reading up and down, up and down. Because of the associated relationship with Mr. Murray, oh, man, I'm not going to... Oh, my Lord. Like I say, you guys just don't know. Oh, my goodness. You should see these words. You should see these words. See the attached... See the attached... Wait, hold on. This is the last thing I'm going to give you. Okay, this is in parentheses or brackets. It says, see attached for timeline. So he has that's a one line, and then we're gonna go down to the bottom and say see attached for detailed timeline. See attached for detailed timeline. That was at the end. And then there was another one. Like I said, it's lines. I got lines here. I mean, like, if I really just spit these verbs and these lines and these verses, like, yo, this is a he tried to eat to me. He tried to eat to me. Umar Johnson, you deal with your emotions like ungrateful bitches. It's sad we love you. You were brother, soldier, soul for cash of riches. He tried to eat to me. You a son for 10 years. We watch you grow up from crawling. Now famous from running schemes, making money with the cream. Wait, famous from running schemes, making money with the team. Straight talking. Yeah. Yeah, yo, he tried to eat to me though. He said, see attached for timeline. Do you hear what I'm saying? So he has two different timelines of two different things because, like I said, he's talking about two different things at this time. This one, when he says see attached for timeline, that was on something. Let me see what this was about. I got this letter yesterday. It was, I didn't even really read it. You know what I'm saying? It was so funny. Woo! Woo! Man, oh man. This is woo! Man, oh man. Oh my Lord. Like I said, that right there, that line, you know what, folks? We can have some fun tonight. But you know, we need a little help and aid. Because like I said, this was from his lawyer. Actually, okay, someone just said something right here. They said something right there. They says, you know, that's my bike. Okay, he says, what happened with the lawsuit that you get your money? You coming in a little bit late. That's okay. That's why I'm prolonging everything. I'm about to go to a video because we about to try and find out do Umar Johnson really want to open this school? Because if he really wanted to open the school, he would have paid me my money. Excuse me. If he really wanted to open the school, he would not be dragging this all the way down to the court. Because, folks, just by him saying this line right here, I'm reading the answer of the defendant to my civil action case. You know what I'm saying? This was his answer. I want to read you some lines, but you guys got to show a little love because these lines is like, this is words from Umar Johnson. Like, you guys got to see his mind. Like, you guys asked me a whole lot of questions, and I got some answers right here. Like, yo, look, when I say I have some answers right here, y'all want to know how he thinks? If you really want to know how he thinks, my Lord, let me, let me just go to the video because I asked the question to you guys: do Umar Johnson want to open up the school?
Dr. Umar Johnson, welcome to Vlad TV.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. You know, big fan of your work. Saw you on the Breakfast Club a few times.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're real close to Charlemagne. Charlemagne's been on the show with us for many, many years.
Okay.
So let's talk about your background. Where'd you grow up exactly?
North Philadelphia, North Central Philadelphia. Born and raised, still live there.
Okay. And what was the environment like when you were growing up?
We grew up humble. I wouldn't say poor because I think poverty is more of the spirit than it is of the economic realities in which a person lives.
Okay. So off the jump, like I said, this is gonna be a great interview. I don't know how long. I mean, it's an hour and 28 minutes. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Umar Johnson's with Vlad TV. He does an interview for an hour 28 minutes, and Leonard Arnold does a breakdown of Umar Johnson. Goes for 4 hours. But I'm going to do a breakdown of this interview, which is an hour 20 minutes, and it's going to be broken down to certain segments. I don't know how much time it's going to take for me to get through this whole thing, but I'm going to break it down for you guys so we understand. Because like I said, this is hood therapy. This is hood therapy, folks. You with the hood therapist, and you guys would like to know, like, you know, do we really want to open a school? You know, he's a fraud. You know, he's a wankster. He's scamming. He's with a white man. Okay. And this white man has done interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people. So we know that this is not just no rinky dink interview. We know this is solidified. This white man been following black hip hop celebrities forever, and he's been bringing out the good and the bad and getting good interviews from so many folks. So this is going to be a full detailed interview. There's no beef, no bullshit, no rah rah, no nigga shit, no testosterone. It's going to be real deal. So you're going to get something genuine. So like I said, I'm going to break this down into different segments. I'm going to do different parts all the way through. And I'm going to break this down all the way to the time of me getting my bread, because this, like I said, this is going to lead to, I don't know what's going to happen with his school, folks. I'm going to let you know, because just looking at this paperwork right here, and I know that Umar is going to just talk and dig a hole in his own grave. And like I said, if this judge did any of her own homework on him, because you guys understand, the court might be busy, but the court's not that busy out there. The courts might be busy, but every single time I go up in that court building, empty, 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 empty. And if they doing a lot of stuff online, you okay? But like I said, it's pretty much empty. So he has to be a file. Our case has to be something that is interesting to that courthouse. That's just my personal theory. Because this building is in a gold mine space. Look, Leonard Arnold can say everything he want to say and be retarded all he want to be, right? And he can talk about the crime infested area, yeah, all that good shit. But you need stuff to go into areas like that to decrease crime. And these people want to know if they don't want no school over there. They really want to change that area a little bit differently. They want something different over there. So he really have to prove that he's not no nigga. And right now, by going to court with me on this, he's gonna prove it, because his words is not gonna look too strong. What he said right here? He said he was poor. He didn't say it, but if you ask me, a question, and I end up saying I was humbled. He said he was humbled, and then he comes back with another word like poverty. That means that they needed some bread. My family, we grew up, it was 4 of us. We needed some bread. I was so weird because, I always know that we was good, but also remember we had hard times. But I always just knew we was good, even with hard times. So I know what he's saying, humbled, because we was humbled. It was so weird not having electricity in the house, but yet still all your friends and everybody still at your house, and you don't even have electricity. And they got the cable, they got this and that, but they at your crib chilling. So like I say, folks, and we talk about at nighttime and the candles, like, yo, this is actually cool, yo. So folks, when he say humbled, I understand. And when you're a person, when you grow up humbled, I want you to understand, all you folks who grew up humbled, if you grow up humbled, it's easy for you to be in a position to take certain arrows and keep moving because you're already humble. And so for all those, that's why I start when I be saying coons and shit like that. I mean those people who's not really humble. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get humbled in order for you to really actually get into a purpose. So like I said, this is gonna be the realest interview, but I'm being really neutral. I'm ultimate trolling mother effing warrior, okay, folks? This ain't no Don running around, yo, that's my man Don up in school. No, this is me really giving you a breakdown, because no one's going to give you a poetically layered breakdown in the proper perspective. And like I said, this is not me. I'm taking the nigga to court. The paper I got right here, I'm so pissed the fuck off of words he said. Let me give you a line what he said so you guys understand. Let me give you a line. I need a lawyer. Hit the please. I got my cash app up there. It's IC Don 167. I really want a lawyer, because for him to take, he said at the very beginning, I'm not going to talk in that situation because I got my lawyer. But this nigga said, He used the word. I put it to you like this. I put it to you like this. I'm not even going to say what he said. I'm not going to say what he said. I'm not going to say what he said. But in this paper right here, the little witch Catherine Brown is in my legal situation. Okay, this little witch Catherine Brown is up in my legal situation with him in this line that he says right here. Line he said right here. I told you I got people fighting against me. They fighting against me, and you guys like think it's really gonna be 1, 2, 3. You guys really think it's like he's trying to fight, but I'm like, damn, he's really like he's going to lose, but he's trying to fight. And when you have people that's coming, it's like coming. If you about to fight somebody, and they bring in their crew, they bring their crew. You understand? They bring in the crew, and they bring in the clique, and they got the clique with the clique, and you just out there by yourself with a fucking a slingshot, and they all got their laptops and computers and phones in their hand. That slingshot better hit the right target. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, folks. We have to hit the right target. I'm trying to hit the right target. I got to hit it right there where it hurts. But like I said, he started off saying that he was poor. And that's very deep and very important because, I don't want to use the word poor, but he used the word poverty. But I want you to understand that those words are so important because you can understand in North Philly in the 70s, 80s. And I tell y'all, to me, Philly right now reminds me of the late 80s, 90s in New York. It reminds me of the late 80s, 90s in New York right now, Philly. The way it is, the way it's moving, the way it looks, all the buildings is condemned, all the homes, all this everything about Philly reminds me of New York City, the Bronx and Brooklyn, especially Brooklyn, in the late 80s and 90s. I'm talking about like the war zone areas. And then it goes into the nice areas. That's what it reminds me of. And everything is looking down and out. And so if he's saying that he was living in a little poverty state in that time, the mindset of these people is grimy. Everyone's trying to hustle everyone. And it's so funny because it's a brotherly love because that is there. But because everybody don't have, they have to put that in these people's mind, brotherly love. That's saying really not 100% because it's brotherly love. That's a mind control that they trying to install in these people's mind, brotherly love. Because poverty is real. Poverty in Delaware, in that Wilmington area, poverty is real. You have nice areas though, but poverty is real. Out here in this Philly area, poverty is real. And as he started off, and I'm only 30 seconds in, folks, but I'm pretty sure with all these million people who watched it, we watched it too, but I want you to do the breakdown without being ignorant. It's hood therapy. Poverty is real. So let's go.
Like you growing up.
We grew up humble. I wouldn't say poor because I think poverty is more of the spirit than it is of the economic realities in which a person lives. My mother, my father, they did the best they can to raise us. They did a good job. Love them both. They still here on the earth breathing in with me. I love North Philadelphia. It's home. It's where I come from. So my roots are still there. I still hang out there. Many of my friends are still there.
Now, what was it growing up in that environment that started to really kind of mold the kind of life that you went on to live?
I would say that began to take place when I was in 4th and 5th grade. I attended a elementary school, George G. Meade Elementary, named after one of America's Civil War generals. We had a mandatory Black history class, 4th and 5th grade, which was taught by Miss Vivian Green, or Lillian Green, Miss Green, who I incidentally ran into a couple years ago. And I think it was the Black history class that really gave me a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, a sense of motivation. Subsequent to that, I went to my first family reunion with my father in Baltimore, Maryland. I believe I was in the 6th grade. and we were walking in the backyard of a church, and there was plenty of Frederick Douglass memorabilia there. And I asked my father, why is there so much Frederick Douglass memorabilia here? And he said, because you are related to him. And it was at that family reunion, the Bailey family, that's when I learned I was related to Frederick Douglass. So I think the 4th and 5th grade Black history class with the 6th grade encounter of realizing I was related to arguably the greatest Black leader in American history, I think that kind of set me on my purpose, and it was solidified after I graduated from Millersville University, became a school psychologist back in the year 2000, and found how special education and ADHD were being used as weapons of mass destruction against African American boys. And so the purpose found its rooting in advocating for our children within the miseducation machine.
Said a mouthful. But like I said, that's beautiful because it's the breakdown. You all heard that many times. You heard the story many times, but let's do the breakdown. He was at the age of, he was in elementary school, and Black History Month touched him. Me too. I remember, yo, look, in the 70s was beautiful, because especially if you had the right teacher, because I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, when you hear people remember their teachers. I remember all my teachers in elementary school. You know what I'm saying? Every single one of them, I remember their names. And so, my 3rd grade teacher, her name was Miss Wilder. She was Jewish lady, maybe German. And my 4th grade teacher, Rosador, she definitely Jewish. We went to her house. Then I finally got some Black teachers. My 5th grade teacher was Miss Valentine. She was pretty. She was really pretty. And then we had Miss Barney. Miss Barney was really, you could tell she had bread, and she was rough. And nobody wanted to have Miss Barney, yo. It's like when we was in 2nd grade, it was like, you don't want to have Miss Barney. And I got Miss Barney. I was like, damn. And I actually really liked Miss Barney. Miss Barney was cool as fuck, because Miss Barney was a mother, and she didn't play nothing. And if you did right, you was good. And I was an honest student, so I did right. So he said that when he was in 4th grade, 3rd, 4th grade, he had Black history class. Now, one thing he's going to say throughout this video, if we can get through it today, he's going to talk about education. He might going to talk about it soon, but he's going to talk about those who praise and idolize this country, idolize sports and entertainment and things like that. But when it comes to education, we, especially us Black folks, we are, you know what I'm saying, we don't even give it no props. And I've done said to you guys many times, I was in honor roll, and I would say that I was, it's weird because I was on always achievement roll, but I was in honor society. And so I say these things, but you guys say, oh, he's retarded, he's stupid, this, that, and other. But I'm saying, was you in honor society? You know what I'm saying? So when you a person who actually do appreciate education, and I'm not really a person who advocates to go to college and shit like that, but I did go, and I did get a chance to appreciate the whole on-campus life, being up in the dorms life, party life, but then also the education part, and just the whole perks that come with it, and just the dedication, because these people being paid and you getting these hands-on, you know, service with these professors and shit like that, you know, and just being able to go to the library and get some real good information, especially in the 90s, you know what I'm saying, growing up. Like when we had this hip-hop shit, and you see, you guys think he's from the hip-hop generation. Umar Johnson's hip-hop generation. So he thought he was going to be the hip-hop captain of the education. You know what I'm saying? He thought he was going to be the king of the education. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you, folks. And if y'all don't respect it, because y'all want to be on the coon mindset as opposed to on the king mindset, you know what I'm saying, y'all not going to get it. But I'm telling you straight up and straight down. I'm telling you straight up and straight down. Pay attention, because he needs therapy. What's up, Miss Tina? How you do, baby? Slew, what it do? You know what I'm saying? I'm doing a quick breakdown, but this is gonna take like I'm doing this Vlad TV, and I'm doing this breakdown all the way through to my court date, just like I'm doing this video on Leonard Honor all the way through to my court date, because we're gonna break down and analyze these dudes. This is hood therapy 100%. We're gonna save these brothers, okay? We're gonna save these men. You know what I'm saying? My father, when he was alive, he told me, you know, because I said something about king. He said, no, no, no. He said, I'm still alive. You're not king. I'm prince. You're prince. So, you know, my father passed away. My father passed away. How long will Umar hold on to those buildings? That is a dope question. Thank you for asking that question. Like I say, it's in this interview. He is all 100% in this interview. And that's what I'm talking about right now. So he's in school and he's talking about, he really said it goes back to when he was in elementary school. So this is a dream, is a passion. For me, sports was a dream and passion. I wanted to be a businessman. Once I heard the word entrepreneur and I was able to spell the word entrepreneur, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and it never changed. Once I was, and it was so weird because I remember to this day, it's like, oh, sure, I can spell it. I said I can be it. And so I'm trying to tell you, once I learned how to spell entrepreneur, I said that's what I want to be. I ain't want to be nothing else. So, and it doesn't matter even if I'm an entrepreneur just selling ice cream or icy, it does not matter as long as I'm an entrepreneur, because that's what I want to be. So when you have a dream and that's your dream and that becomes your passion, you got to understand that, you know what I'm saying? His dream in third and fourth grade, can you guys remember what your dream in third, fourth grade was? And how many of you guys are living it? And I'm like I said, I'm breaking this video down, so don't think just because I'm talking this talk right here and we only 2 minutes and 39 seconds in this video, don't say, oh, Dawn is riding Umar. No, done. Follow the hood therapy. This is therapy, and it's therapy for all of us, because this Umar Johnson chapter of this stupid black man struggle shit, it comes to an end. I'm not even gonna front, folks. This whole Umar Johnson struggle shit comes to an end as we speak. So it's going to happen in Black History Month. You're about to have history take place in Black History Month. He's going to be. He used the word at the beginning, humble. He's going to be humbled again. As he was young, that poor life humbled him, and right now this whole FDMG school is going to humble him. How long is he going to have it? It's all up to the people, because Umar Johnson had the dream all his life, and he had the reality is what he did. To be honest, I want y'all to really understand, to be honest with Umar Johnson, if he don't open the school and he walks away being able to sell those buildings, he still did good. He did a come up, and it's not like it's not a disrespectful come up at all. It was actually a black power chess move. And once you understand that we're playing chess, not checkers, then you understand that what game we playing. And but as long as you guys thinking this is a checkerboard game, checkers easy. Anybody can do fucking checkers. Stop playing checkers. Well, if you guys can now start playing that real game, chess, and understand moves, then you understand that this was actually a power move. You know, if win or fell, if he comes out on top. Meaning that if he don't open the schools and he lose it, but he lose it in the way that he gets bread, it's a winning situation. Period. Because he was able to do one thing, he was able to get some black folks to actually obtain some buildings, and he goes on record that he actually obtained those buildings, and he's done it from donations from black people and no white handouts. So technically, in his mind, he can give himself. You know how like when you win in a game and when you play in the game, and you make it all the way to you playing the tournament, then you make it to the championship, and then you lose, and then the coach comes and he does his pep talk at the end of the game, and he peps you guys up and he take you get some pizza, and you guys understand that you guys are still winners because you made it to the championship and you lost by one. That's what it is. So like I say, when you relate a lot of moves to what it is sports, you can look at it as a victory, period. And you guys are just making a loss, but it's not. It won't be a loss no matter what for this dude. Because personally, if he says his victory was a moral victory, he was able to get the people to really support his dream, and maybe we could get on the second round. You know what I'm saying? What y'all going to get out of it at the very end? That's what I want y'all all to understand. What you guys going to get out of it at the very end? So to the question of how long will Umar hold on to those buildings? As long as that man is holding on to his dream, and if he's really staying fast to his dream, he's going to always hold on to those buildings, folks. And that's what I want you to understand. So this is therapy. because this is all about a dream. And you guys heard it years ago. You heard these words years ago, but you guys really listen. Some people listen to these words. This was 2016. So a lot of people loving the words and they support the words. Now they feel disappointed with the words because they don't understand the words. But in this interview, he told you when the depression started. And I told you, I've met the man. This interview, this was posted October 7th, 2016. I met the man in December of that year. And when we had our conversation, from that time to the end of the next year, the conversation was what it is. And now I look at this interview. As I look at the interview, I'd say, oh shit, I was right. He really got fucked up, son. And that big old fucking giant watermelon head of his with a big ass computer brain, he got that Rosetta Stone brain. It got fucking distorted. It caught a virus in that shit. Can you imagine being Umar Johnson with a virus in your head? Umar Johnson caught a virus in his head back in 2016, and you guys really don't understand it. His program was fucked up. And in this interview, he's going to say something, and you guys heard it. You heard it, but not once do I ever hear none of you guys really truly mention what he said. And to be honest, last night was the first time I heard it. Last night was the first time I heard it, and it fucked my head up. I hope I can get to it, during this live stream. Let me let him talk. Wait, what did we talk about?
Now you got your doctorate?
Yes, sir. From the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Now, that's where the beef took place. Okay, right there, 245. That's where the beef took place, because whatever this man who's been talking about, and people have been watching, and people have been talking, and people been watching, and whatever he was saying had people like fuck him, because whatever he was saying stirred up some problem within them. But like I say, maybe you guys need to really go to church and get the devil about you, because you sinning and sinning. And so he spoke some shit, and he had people coming at him. And so now people checking his credentials. And that's where everything started. Everything started from the credentials. I see you in the chat. I'm just trying to really get through this. You know what I'm saying? My bad. Oh, I got that up there. Okay, I still got your shit up there. Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, so I answered that. But everything started with the credentials. What you saying? 1, 2, 3, 3. Yeah, I salute niggas that were born without shit. My parents was bit business owners. They had a mechanic shop, but we weren't rich. Yo, nah, real talk. Okay, now I'm glad you even said it. Even if you're being funny, but I respect what you say, because like back in the days, having a mechanic shop, you're doing pretty good. Cause my one of my family members, they had the only like black gas station in the hood in the 70s and 80s. We was on over there, Queens. We was off of Murdoch and Farmers. Where that gas station is, that was our gas station. Right over there, Murdoch and Farmers in Queens, Jamaican out there in Queens. That was my family gas station. You know what I'm saying? So it's like my father also, he was a businessman too. That's why he told me never work for the white man. He had a bar over there by, if you're from Queens, you know the infamous mural over there by the Long Island Railroad on Linden Boulevard, the Linden Boulevard mural. He used to have a bar right there, like right there. So all the local hood people would come to his bar. So he knew everybody knew him, and he was that nigga. And I found out just last year that he was running numbers. So, like I said, we have poor times, but you know what I'm saying, for some reason we always have, but I just know poor times. I knew us to be living. We never lived my family never lived a rich life. We never had a rich life, but I always remember we had the cars. We had the Buick, we had the van, we had we never missed out not having the car. That's the reason why I'm the way I am, and I would always have a car, period, whether I'm able to drive it or not, because that's always what I just know. And so people got to understand, what you know is what you actually duplicate. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you have abusive household, sometimes most times you're gonna have abuse in your life. So this is hood therapy. Hood therapy. I'm glad I saw that. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I saw that. The Invest Academy. Peace. Peace. Band B. What up? How you doing, yo? BIA. BIA. What's up, man? How you doing? Don, you know them niggas from the Bailey family. Said Umar ain't related to. Okay, I'm glad you went to that because that's why I said. Remember, I said what was I talking about? That's where I was about to go. That's what I'm glad you said. Thank you. I'm glad. Yo, look, I'm gonna tell you a little quick. I'm all over the place, but like I said, we doing this shit all the way through February. So I want y'all to understand me. Back at the very beginning, everybody with the good guy crew told me not to pay attention to the chat, and so I was like pretty much not paying attention to the chat in the proper perspective. So now that I can actually look at the chat and see you a little bit better and hear you better, even if you've been plus heads like a pimple, and sometimes I feel like popping you. It's not for me to really like try and get all the blood out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to enjoy the chat more without distractions, because like I said, I came on the scene. I came on the scene underneath a certain umbrella, and it was like 1,000% Umar Johnson supporters. So they didn't want me to be misled in the direction that was going to hurt what they was putting down. So okay, cool. But like I said, I'm my own ultimate trolling warrior. So respect to the chat. Anybody who's out here, respect to you guys. Thank you for listening, and thank you for keeping me on point with that. Because trust you, that's where I'm trying to stay at. That's why I'm not even hitting the shit, because I want you to understand. He was in elementary school and he got fascinated with Black History Month. Then he go to his family reunion. Okay, he go to his family reunion. He's a child. He's not big Umar. He's little Umar. The fascinated boy, the boy who was educated, the little geek nerd dude. And he go to his family reunion. When you go to your family reunion, you happy. You seeing all the family. You seeing all this shit. And he's an inquisitive dude. He's walking with his dad. How many you folks walk with your dad? He's walking with his dad. And his dad, says to him, well, all this paraphernalia is because you relate to him. Now, that right there is very disturbing to me. Okay? That right there is a little disturbing to me, because you know how we play? Do you know how we play, right? Oh, that's cousin. That's your cousin. You know how we play. You know how we play the games, and you don't know something. You think something all your life until somebody reveals to you that that's not what it is. Remember, he was a child. I met his father, and his father, I believe his father did have a sense of humor. That's why Umar's funny. The reason why Umar's funny is because his father's entertaining. His father was a drill sergeant, so his father is comedic actor in a way, because you have to be an actor, because drill sergeant is not who you are. That's the person that you have to be. So you gotta understand that his father probably threw him a curveball. But who knows? And for us to stay fast on that, to me, was embarrassing. It's because this was before my time on the scene. So I'm going to go to this for a little bit, because I'm doing the breakdown of the school, and I want y'all to understand this is when I was on the outside, just looking at it on both sides. I was so neutral then. I was really trying to study this nigga, period. At the time, I was really studying him. And so I'm telling you, even when that came out, I said to myself, oh shit, he do look like him. So to me, like if we was watching the Maury show, and you put the faces up, you put Umar's face, you put his face up. See, I want y'all to do it like that. If we was to really do that shit, could someone do that shit and do the breakdown of the nose and all this shit? I mean, I'm not good with the computer shit. Did y'all do that before? Who did that? Who really did the breakdown? He looks like him to me. They look like they have features to me. Their head look big. They look like they got the same fucking size head to me. Y'all wonder why he always have that beard? Because in his mind, in his heart, in his soul, he believed that he's related to Frederick Douglass. That might be a Philly thing with the bishop, but he really is Frederick Douglass in his mind, heart, and soul. Because he's a nerd, and him as a student, he wanted to honor somebody, and there wasn't going to be no Michael Jordan. It wasn't going to be no Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey. So while all you guys was collecting your cards and your baseball cards, your basketball cards, and all this other shit, and your Pokemon cards, his cards is civil rights books and all this other stuff. So maybe, like I said, his father really threw him a loophole in the curveball, but him as a child, that's what he believed. And from that right there, but that instilled, that installment. See, now I want you to go to the deepness of this whole shit. That installment that he just did, though, his father saying to his son at that time, because his father knows his son way better than you know Umar at this point, big Umar. We talk about little Umar. That's why I said this interview is so beautiful for me to be a hood therapist, to do a complete breakdown. And you guys just going to be, I'm doing my breakdown. You guys listen to me do the breakdown. I appreciate you, but I'm going to do this breakdown with or without you, because I'm trying to really understand myself. Do he really want to open this school? And like I say, a little bit more into this video, he's going to tell you when it all fell apart. And I told you when it all fell apart. And then that's when the heat came. So going back to this right here, he said the Bailey family said Umar ain't related to them. They took a DNA test. I think they sent that Umar a letter to. Umar been saying he's related to them for a while still after that.
July of 2012.
But now this is what I'm trying to tell you. Was that, like I said, I was watching from the outside. Was that enough for you guys to stay focused on to assassinate him? So that's why I was looking at even at that time. I was like, is that enough to assassinate him, though? If he's related to him or not? Do you assassinate him and you stole his dream? And you say he's a lion, he's a fraud because of that? But if you go back to it, he said his dad told him. DNA, look, if his dad told him back then and no DNA test wasn't taken until now, but why did the DNA test come about? Because of you folks. And that's what makes it worse. Salute everyone out there listening. The DNA, if the DNA test never came in, and he never, let's just say in his mind, his heart, his soul, he knows that he's not related to them. But in his mind and his soul, he knows he is, because he just believes, because his dad told him, and he just believes because he is fascinated with the man and he want to have that linkage to him. Who are we to take him away from that if that's going to help elevate him to his dream? Black power. Who are we to take that away if that was the few making that man move and move and move? So when you start attacking the person's fuel, you emptying the person's tank. And then, you know, us black folks, he's from North Philly, you know what I'm saying? We going to turn up. And so then we become in defense mode. Now y'all want to be more mad, and you want to be mad because we're in defense mode. But like I say, folks, do he really want to open the school? Did he really want to open the school? Yes. From the open statement, yes, he did. Who can deny that this man from right now to that little beginning of the story, who could say that he didn't want to open the school when he said it began when I was in 3rd, 4th grade? Who's saying he's lying? Who say he didn't want to open no school? He didn't want to get no education. Who's saying that right now? Because when I went to move the stuff out, you know, where I had to move it, I moved about like 200 books. I moved a library. Who the fuck is saying that he don't want to be in education? He paid me to move a lot of fucking books, you fucking your slimes. I would kill someone if they told me I could never be a baseball player. That's why I don't even watch sports to this day. I'm nice. Even at this age, I'm still nice in baseball, football. I'm good in basketball at this age. So who are you to tell me that I don't have a dream? Who are you to tell that Martin Luther King don't have a dream? And like I say, I'm not in defense. I want you to, I'm breaking the spell off of us as black people. Black man rise, original rebels. I'm breaking the spell off you folks. So like I say, if his father told that little lie that you guys wasn't supposed to know about in 2020, in 2016, and he told that lie in 1986, 1986, he was told that shit. Let's go back, folks. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back.
Education machine that 2000 and found how special education is certainly not related to him.
Everything he's talking about is fucking shit that y'all not spitting. You're not talking education. So you say that he don't want to do something? Who are you to say a person don't want to do it?
And there was plenty of in a sense of motivation subsequent to that.
Heard the word motivation. Like I say, this is therapy. I'm breaking it down because I'm trying to figure out. You guys understand, folks. Okay, all right. Let me rewind everything. Keep it really gangster real quick. Let me take this shit off. I'm doing therapy for myself. Because remember, he owes me money. I got caught, yay. But I have a life, and I really wish I had my money. And so for me, when I be thinking about so many things, that's why I lose my hair. For me to be thinking about so many things and go into stress mode, you know, I saw myself like if people came at me once, if they came at me and trying to jump me or something like that, I just saw every move I was going to do. So it's like when you just start seeing moves that you want to do to a person, they're like, oh, that's not good. It's like, oh, because you know what that was? That was the evils. So I'm doing a breakdown so I can understand for myself why I need the spasm on the dude. Because looking at this letter, I'm like, yo, I want to punch him in his fucking face. That's what you gotta understand. So that's what made me come in. Once it popped up, I said, I guess something's talking to me. So I'm doing a breakdown. I'm doing a breakdown with you. I'm doing a 100% breakdown trying to analyze this big-headed motherfucker because I know inside that big head is not no worthless brain. So you guys are really trying to paint him out to be a worthless individual. I'm telling you that in my soul, and I know my soul knows, fuck that he's not worthless like that. My soul say that he has a point and purpose, and much more than many of you guys who are in lending on this chat with your dollars that you're sending to him. Umar Johnson has much more of a purpose than you guys, and to me. And like I say, I'm the nigga who really want to hurt him because he owes me money. He's doing stupid shit. He's making his black people look stupid. But you guys and his purpose, like I say, I carry so much books. It was like, damn, dude.
My first family reunion with my father in Baltimore, Maryland. I believe I was in the 6th grade, and we were walking in the backyard of a church, and there was plenty of Frederick Douglass memorabilia there. And I asked my father, why is there so much Frederick Douglass memorabilia here? And he said, because you are related to him. And it was at that family reunion, the Bailey family, that's when I learned I was related to Frederick Douglass. So
all right, you know what? I'm going there. I'm going there because you know the spirits just spoke to me. I'm going there so you guys can get with me. I have a my family is a little weird. But I'm going there. I'm gonna go there. I won't, matter of fact, I won't go 100% there. I'll go there with this point right here. Okay, I have a half brother. He's it's from my father. We have the same fathers. The most illest thing is that my father. This is why I salute my father and love my father. My father, we lived around the corner, so like he had a house with his moms. He was there together first, and then when he got with my moms and created me, he never moved too far out from where his son was. They said that we went and moved into Flushing, then we came back into the neighborhood, but he had this house already that he had his ex-wife, and his son in it. So they was in the house, and him and his new family, which is me, we was in the struggle world, and we was moving house to house, and then we took over this other house, and that house became our house for 30 some years, and it was right around the corner from my brother. Just imagine that my brother lived right around the motherfucking corner, and I never knew who he was. So now that's I want you to understand that, saying you not know. But people hold things back from family. People say things to family. People do things for family for certain reasons. Like I say, that's not the story I was going to say. It was a different story, but I just want you to understand that. Just imagine that took place. Now, just imagine that I knew who he was, and I grew up with him all his life, and my father knew who he was too, and he seen him at the house all the time, and they kept that from me, that me and him was brothers, and my father and him never told me that we was brothers, and told me that that this was my cousin. Words is strong, and words just is powerful. So when your dad say to you that that's your family member, you was a child, you're gonna go with that, and that itself can make you or break you. But in Umar Johnson case, it really made him. And even if you guys reveal to him that is not his family member, even to this day, he still say it is. That's because he's not going to move from that location because that's what he believes. And I want you to understand that this man is so into education that I don't think that you guys can really take him off of what if he's scamming, I still guarantee you that he's going to stay in education. What other link can he go to scam the people? And that's what we have to understand. What other level can he go? And like I said, I'm not in defense. I'm doing psychological therapy because this dude is really off. Like bipolarism from Leonard Honor. Leonard Honor has bipolarism. You guys made this dude psycho.
I think the 4th and 5th grade Black History class with the 6th grade encounter of realizing I was related to arguably the greatest Black leader in American history. I think that kind of set me on my purpose, and it was solidified after I graduated from Millersville University, became a school psychologist back in the year 2000, and found how special education and ADHD were being used as weapons of mass destruction against African American boys. And so the purpose found its rooting in advocating for our children within the miseducation machine. Now, you got your doctorate? Yes, sir. From the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine, July of 2012, American Psychological Association approved program. I would add a disclaimer to that. As you've probably seen in the world of social media, some of the brothers and sisters in my community have created or falsified claims that I did not have a doctorate.
Now, when he said my community, he wasn't talking about my sector. He was talking about my Black people. My Black people. He said my Black people in social media has created a false doctrine against them. So at this point, with whoever had the heat on him was laying down the fuse, the long fuse for the dynamite that was set to blow up his shit. And my question is, for what reason did this person, whoever, or these people at this beginning on that line right there, because like I said, this is an amazing line. This is the breakdown. what reason did they do what they did, and why? And so, like I say, this is therapy for all. This is therapy for all. As I do a breakdown of it and think about it, it's because we living in such an evil world that everybody think that they're good. People think that they're doing the right thing. I'm exposing you, so you doing the right thing because you exposing. Who appointed you that position to be the exposer? Maybe it was Satan. And so a lot of people motives and their actions is based upon a Satan thoughts and Satan energy, satanic energy, possession. And when you're being used as a tool by Satan and you don't even know that you're being used by a tool by Satan, you possess in that level, we call that exorcism. And then when you start watching people see, I'm in the Bible right now. I'm in this whole book of this spiritual book because I want you to understand what we're dealing with. I told you it's spiritual. So like I said, this is when he was being spiritually attacked. Because something happened when he started talking about his credentials in life. And he started being spiritually attacked. Now, whatever is the source of that spiritual attack is the same thing that created what Umar Johnson is. 1000% turned up, like turning up. They turned whatever Umar Johnson was, they turned it up to be what Umar Johnson is to right now, which is a tarnished, tainted, lost little elementary school kid who believes in that his dream. That's what it is. You guys don't understand. He's living his childhood dream. So he is still moving as that child with that dream. And going to adulthood, going to man, is that child with that dream. And y'all destroying this childhood dream. And he don't know how to deal with it. And you guys don't get it. And it just be, like I said, it began from right there. Let's hear what he's saying.
Part of that stems from the fact that I never advertised the schools that I graduated from. Obviously, when I speak at universities, they have to vet my background. So I have to provide that information to them. The reason I never advertise the universities is I know that many of them would take issue with what I stand for, what I'm working towards, and my opinions on things. So if I ran around saying I went to PCOM, if I ran around saying I attended Millersville University, if I ran around saying I have a master's in educational leadership from Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, some people might draw the erroneous conclusion that they support my work. And so out of respect for those institutions, I don't go around with a banner with their names on it because I feel that who I am and my reputation and background is sufficient to support the premises that I stand on. Now,
yo, when I listened to that yesterday, I said, oh, a matter of fact, when I remembered that, because like I said, I seen a little bit of this shit years ago. When I remembered that, when I listened to it yesterday, I remembered, I said, you know what? That's why I liked him at the time, because he moves like me. You got to move like Batman when you know that you're about to start. When you're moving in your purpose, this is the spiritual world. You like, I'm not attached to my family. Once again, I am not attached to my family. I disattached from my family over a decade ago. But I started disattaching from my family 20 years ago. I don't know where my mom's at. I don't know where my sister's at. I don't know where my brother's at. I don't know where family's at. I'm disattached from them. I don't have them on Facebook. I don't text them. I don't call them. Don't have their telephone number. Their number's not stored in my phone. There's no record. There's no record. Because like I said, once you step into a certain arenas, you really, like Asada Shakur, when I read the autobiography of Asada Shakur, and you know, she's talking about not Afina, Asada, and she said that, you know what I'm saying, being part of the Black Panther, you know, you got this, when you go underground, you disappear, so you got to disappear from the family. Like, I registered the shit, and so that's what you do. And so when he said that, I was like, yo, he really is revolutionary. So I had to salute him because, okay, I was like, okay. And that was back then. And as I'm listening to it now, Most people listening with a deaf ear because they're not listening with a revolutionary ear. They listening with it as a with a program ear. Okay, the ear that you're listening and been listening to them with was the ears of the, and I won't say just the house Negro, because I'm saying the field Negro as well. I am not a house Negro nor a field Negro. I'm a runaway slave. We are still slaves to the system. I ran the fuck away. I'm a free man. Umar Johnson broke away from the system, and he became a free man. So you guys are listening from the ears of house Negroes, and you listening from the ears of field Negroes, but you're not listening to our talk from the ears, and because we're talking to you as if you want to be runaways. So we're talking to you with the strength to run away. We try and give you that energy as runaways that you can do it too. And the more, in fact, the more faster you do it, the faster we can build as runaways. But y'all listening to our talk from the house. You listen to our talk from the field. And y'all not hearing us because the door to the house is closed. So you're not here. You got just the window open, so you're not really hearing. You like, what? What you saying? So you're hearing it wrong. You all the way in the field. We talk about like 55 acres of land, and you all the way on the north end, and I'm all the way on the east end, and I'm screaming at you, but you're not hearing me because I'm not even on the field. I'm outside the gate. And I'm saying, yo, the gate's open down there. So y'all not hearing though. And that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. So y'all listen from a perspective of being on the plantation. And y'all are on plantation arguing with people who's on the outside the plantation saying, yo, come on, I know where you can go. And that's where we go wrong. And it's because you're jealous because you cannot get off the plantation. You jealous because you're too afraid to get off the plantation. You are jealous. And see, once you're jealous, jealousy makes you do all sorts of fuckery. And it's not like a super bad jealous. It's a jealous that's like, damn, yo, yeah, yo, you could have did it yourself, yo. But you was just too afraid. It's that crab in the barrel mentality. So from this beginning right here is where it was the destruction. Now, when I was listening to Leonard Honor, and he was doing his breakdown, you're gonna hear it tomorrow, and how he opened up about how he really came into the scene. He tells you what brought him into the scene, and it's what Umar's talking about, and it's the person, and the person who really started it all is actually infamous. This person who started the destruction of Umar Johnson, because this is how he opened up. He said this is where it all began, the downfall, pretty much, is the reason why the FDMG doors is not open. The FDMG doors would have been open if this person didn't have a form of jealousy. Because in real life, like when you play sports, see, a lot of people don't play sports, and you have to play sports. Sports teach you not to be jealous. Sports teach you to work harder and do and train harder. That's what sports do. And not just compete, but really, work with each other because you're part of a team. And when he said, people of my community, he basically said people on the team is going against one of the greatest. And then y'all get mad and y'all get jealous because of one of the people feel they all-star on the team, and they're saying the all-star, and you say you're not no all-star. Prove you're all-star. With us black people, we want us to prove that we are all-stars. We want us to prove that we are players. While we're trying to spend all the time proving, we're not even playing the game. And then when it's time for us to play the game, we always going to lose because we are, as a team, we're never playing together. How many of you women have children? And you go to your little boy's basketball game, and you sit there in your mirror, you sit there in your window, you look at him playing in the backyard, I had a backyard. I don't know if you guys have backyards. I had a backyard. Looking out the backyard, you looking out the kitchen window in the backyard, and you watch them shoot the basketball for like 2-3 hours. You see him go to the park, you come back, you see your baby playing. You go to his game, you watch him. You go to his practice, watch him. You spend all this money on his sneakers and everything, and you know he got a good team, but you just know something about the team is just too Negroish because they just always argue amongst themselves, even though they're really good. And they make it to the chip, they make it to the championship. You know they're really good, but they start arguing, and they could have beat the team, but they lost to this team. And the team, your team was just so happened to be all black boys, and they lost to these all white boys because the white boys played as a team. And they had this one little Chinese dude on the team that was just nice and was just killing them because he was playing he was just doing everything by technique and just, the mechanics. While your boys was trying to do all the crazy LeBron James, Steph Curry's, and trying to mimic all this shit that they not. Well, that's what we do. We destroy the team. We destroy the game. We lose the game before we even start playing. So this is what makes me sad because y'all ask me, I mean, not ask me, but y'all ask me too. But y'all ask yourselves, like, Umar don't want to open the school. Umar don't want to open the school. But the real question is, why the people at the very beginning did not want him to open the school? His shirt says unapologetically African. So if a man is in hip hop and he's into rap and he wanted to be a rapper, he decided he's gonna do Lil Nas X rap. Okay, women, let's take Lil Nas X and let's put him right here in the interview with Umar Johnson. All right, ladies, you got Lil Nas X being interviewed with unapologetically African Umar Johnson. Lil Nas X choose to rap and wear a dress and be whatever the fuck he is. And I don't see our women attacking him in any form or manner, knowing that you want your child to be straight. But yet and still he's listening to Lil Nas X. But then y'all will hear Umar Johnson talk about women that weave, and then y'all will want to murder Umar Johnson because he talked about y'all weave.
How many years did you end up going to school?
Now, he asked him, how many years did you end up going to school?
5 years of undergrad, Millersville University, a double major, psychology. Graduated, came back to Philadelphia, started a master's program in clinical psychology at Hahnemann University. It was too expensive, so I decided to go back to Millersville. I was Black Student Union president. I was a student leader there. And so I felt if I went back to Millersville, I could get the education paid for. And so I went back and I enrolled in the school psychology program. And I was actually motivated partly to do that by the director of Hahnemann's program, who told me that if you're going to go back to Millersville, get your school psychology cert, because even after you get your doctorate, you cannot test for special education without a school psychology cert. So that was from January of '98. I graduated 2 days before my 25th birthday in 2000, and then I completed my one-year internship with the School District of Philadelphia 2001. Subsequent to that, I was a school psychologist with the School District of Philadelphia 5 or 6 years, after which I resigned, became a assistant principal at a Philadelphia charter school, and then went into private practice as a school psychologist, which I've been doing since then.
I mean, with my audience, which is the hip hop community,
Yes, sir.
education is not always, celebrated. Like when you look at all the biggest rappers today, like you can name very few that actually finished college.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like the Puffies did a year or two. I think J. Cole. I'm not sure if J. Cole
attended college.
Oh, he graduated?
I'm not sure if he completed, but I know he attended.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like in terms of completing college, hip hop doesn't celebrate that. You know, as much as like someone's street cred or you know stuff like that. Or sometimes even someone's jail time. Now, what was it for you? Why was it important for you to get an education?
For me, I was the first of my mother's children to get an opportunity to go to college. Also, being a student of Black history, understanding that ancestral struggle for an education, it meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me. Some of my friends, they transferred out of Millersville University. I don't know if they completed or not. Some of them did. I decided to stay. A lot of us didn't like it at Millersville, predominantly white, Amish context.
Did you hear what he said? I'm eating food. Yo, he said that the school that he went to was predominantly white and Amish. Now, you guys know it out here in Pennsylvania, all the way out there in the Amish area. That's just kind of nervousing. For him, Umar Johnson, to be in the school like that, do you really think he's trying to promote that and advertise that? Especially at this time? No, he ain't trying to think advertise and promote that. And that's in his heart, he hated that. But because what his pockets can afford, he said, I'm going to get my education no matter what. He stays on education, but you guys really want to be mad at him because he's staying on education, because he might have talked about gays. You mad at him because he might have talked about what, you know, how we spend our money recklessly, and then this nigga's like, yo, where his money at? It's funny, you know, we always point fingers at each other, but then we don't look at the fingers that we point at ourselves. And, you know, y'all might be looking at Umar like that. I'm looking at him like, do you really want the school? But from the beginning, until all the attacks, until all the assassinations, he wanted the school.
A lot of racism, not much there in terms of Black cultural affirmation. But I said, I'm here, I'm going to make the best of it, and I'm going to finish. And I think that it was by divine design that my undergraduate institution happened to have had the school psychology program. Because had not Millersville had the school psychology program, I wouldn't be a school psychologist today. I would have been a pure clinician. Now, my doctorate is in clinical, but it's my school psychology certificate.
Like Frederick Douglass says, without struggle, there's no progress. So he had to struggle himself that he wasn't going to a HBCU. He had to struggle that he was going to some old cracker Amish school all the way out in West Bubblefuck. But yet and still what he needed was right there. Okay, folks? Like I said, this is spiritual. And he had, you know, he's, for some reason, he stood fast. He stood there. So he do know how to handle smoke, because he was there to handle his own smoke of him being a graduate of this school with all these white boys. So going to what these people ask, do he have any of his peers? Do you know who graduated with him? Them boys probably scared the shit of him. He probably was all in the world by himself. Understand what I'm saying? That's why. Ask what school he go to, and then realize that maybe he wasn't rolling with nobody. He went to a predominantly white school with Amish people. Think about that. You know what? Copy. I did abandon that, and I was looking at the shit today. They was talking about the Eiffel Tower, 3 times the size of the Eiffel Tower. I'm like, And I'm trying to tell you folks, they are really, really, really coming. The more and more they keep talking about it is because they about to do something. And if they talk about they have this shit this go out there to redirect the asteroids, let's just say they ain't thinking about redirecting that one. They trying to find the one that's really close to us right now and redirect that one. That's why they keep talking about the shit. They going, yo, trust me, folks. Once again, I'm not reading the chat. I apologize, folks. I wish I seen this earlier. But you know, I'm really talking about ooh. But you know, I want you to understand. Let's not be too distracted, man. My question is to you before I even go any further, because I had this thought last night. Because the way people, everybody who have a major hatred for Umar Johnson, I'm not even gonna put Linda on in this one. I'm just gonna leave this at Umar Johnson right now. Linda on, I'll do that tomorrow. But for all those who have a hatred for Umar Johnson, who's worse, George Bush? Either one, but George Bush Jr. or Umar Johnson. And I asked you that question because how how emotional was you during the time of George Bush era? How emotional was you? Like, you see how Kanye West became extremely emotional. He let his emotions out. He said he don't give a fuck about black people. How emotional was you? How adamant was you about the war and about 9/11, just about the way George Bush has handled everything and just the whole time? Snatching being a fraud and taking the election. How many of you guys spent that much time on anything talking about him? Why is it that we do it, our community do it to us, where we would do 10 years of this shit? Because look, if this is 2016 and he's talking in the past about someone already attacked him, that must mean that they probably attacked him like 2015. When did you attack him? What year did you attack him? Because you're almost on 10 years of attacking this man. And then you say, why is he didn't open the school? One, because he's black. He's from the ghetto. And then he has people trying to stop his dreams. And then he has his own self and dealing with his own demons that's trying to stop his dreams. Yeah, you'd be lucky you have a person like me in the world. Yeah, my pops was a real nigga. I love my dad. He was everybody in my community called dad pops. And then when we got older, dad pops told us that he sung with James Brown. You know what I'm saying? And I know he was bullshit. You know what I'm saying? My dad is a great singer, and 'cause he's from Georgia. He's from he was from Augusta, Georgia. James was down there. And back in the days, you know what I'm saying, everybody's trying to get groups and shit like that. That was just a normal thing. It's just that James Brown was just a little more eccentric. It wasn't like he was a better singer. It's just that he was more, the dancing centric shit. So, they pulled him up. My dad also was a caddy, and he was a caddy for one of the presidents. I don't know if it was Dwight Eisenhower. My dad was old, so I can't remember which president it was, but he actually did a caddy. He caddied for the president. And that was some fucking crazy shit. Matter of fact, when I go back to Queens, I have the caddy his golf clubs, the caddy bag and all. I'm talking about this shit's about like about 50 years old. The bag is older than me, and it's like he never played golf. It was like a gift. I got it. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So damn, Tina, my bad, girl. Hell yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's what they were doing to me because, they didn't want me to really pay attention to the chat because, saying they would have probably been seeing, I've probably been seeing that the chat was going crazy on them. And I've been questioning. It's just crazy, you know what I'm saying? It's really crazy. But, my bad. I'm just checking the chat out real quick, you know what I'm saying? Because my bad. Once again, you know what I'm saying? It's okay. It's okay. The president. If you like my cool, my crown, my father gave me this. I told you. He said my father gave me this. And I'm gonna tell you something. I told my father that He gave me this. Let me just make sure. If I'm not mistaken, I'm like 99% sure when he gave me this because it's the time I wore it, the only time I wore it. If I can make sure. No, I apologize. No. He gave me this because I was hosting a Kwanzaa event. And the second time I wore this was when I went to Umar Johnson event in Manhattan. And I was also the royalty. Looking real royal. I was looking real royal. If you like my royalty look today, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind having this look a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to get used to looking royalty because it's now time to live in my purpose. But yeah, folks, love the chat, love you guys. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for even being here. So I'm not bored by myself. Even if you disappear, it's okay. Because like I said, I'm doing a breakdown. I'm only 9 minutes in this this video. I got an hour and 20, an hour and 19 more minutes left. So like I said, I'm gonna do this breakdown. But I don't want people to be thinking like, you know, saying I'm sucking Umar balls. Like I say, I'm really telling you that this is therapy. This nigga is crazy right now. I didn't get to when he turned crazy, but I'm gonna tell you like this: who did it? Afro Spengali. She is the cause of all this. That's so crazy. She is legendary. Afro Spengali is the reason why Umar Johnson did not open that building. And my point at the very end is, you know, when people do things like this, I'm just a therapist because I want to know what is your motive and what's the end result. Because when something is really inevitable and when things have to happen, and when everything and everybody goes against, you know, the grain of what has to happen, my question is, what is your motives and why do you want to stop the grain when it has to happen? Like the civil rights movement had to happen, but you had all these people on the sideline saying that they were stupid for marching, they were stupid for protesting, they were stupid for being black power. But then you have those same niggas reaping all the fucking benefits, sitting up in the house playing video games. So, matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to go hard real quick. I'm about to be me real quick. You know who's all those little sorry ass niggas who pants be hanging down? They just in the house all day, just video games. Yeah, do you know what generation your DNA is from? You all those, the generation of those motherfuckers who was out there saying why they protesting. And this is when a person say we're gonna have to really eradicate a certain level of population. I'm telling you who you are. You were the sons and daughters of the generation during the 60s that was on the sideline saying that dumb niggas stupid, dumb niggas crazy. All you folks right now on the sideline who be being goofy when the person be like overstand, over in and over in and understand, and y'all be being goofy. You guys was on the sideline. Your family was on the sideline. Like if you was to go back in your history and show you when you was back here again before, you was on the sideline saying the same shit. It's not like nothing had changed. It's easy to be on the sideline making fun of something that has to happen. But then you will be the same ones that's collecting the benefits of every single thing. Just like a Leonard Honor. He's collecting the benefits of all the shit. He's collecting benefits. People are going to go check him out just because now. Just because they're going to check him out because such a negative energy has been pasted on this man and this movement Because this happens to us. I ain't talking about just Umar. Umar is just the one I'm using right now. He's the model I'm using right now. But this happens every year with someone black. He's not the only one this happened to. This happens every year.
Through which I do most of my work, and as you know, for which my name has been built. So I don't think that was a coincidence. I think we have to be a school psychologist today. I would have been a pure clinician. I think that was a coincidence. I think we have to understand the context in which African American men are reared, educated, and socialized in America. Education itself is not valued in the African American community, nor is education of African American males valued by the larger political construct. When you look at our community, black males are rewarded only for being athletes and entertainers. They are not rewarded for being academically excellent. The political structure does not reward them. The religious structure does not reward them. The economic structure does not reward them. I'm also a former school principal. And even in the schools, athletics is given more respect than academic excellence. A mentally gifted child who's at the 99th percentile academically, he may be one of the brightest students in the state or nation, will not get as much attention as an underachieving African American male athlete who may be failing 3 or 4 subjects in school, but because he has a great jump shot or he can catch a football, he gets celebrated more than the academic achiever. So I think we, as the African American community, have to look at that, but we also have to realize that America has a history of undervaluing the intellectual achievements of African American people.
So when Umar was up in his gym with the basketball in hand, dribbling the basketball, and everybody was joking him from left to right, and he hit his first shot, he was ready to jump through the roof, and we should just been happy for him. But no, we wanted to coon around and disrespect him, but yet still, he's a number 2 pencil dude. He's a big pen dude. He's a fountain pen dude. Well, I don't think he used a fountain pen, but he's a pen dude. He's an education dude. Hitting the shot off the rip, live was very exciting. Because he's not into the sports on that level like that. And once we understand that, you will understand that this is his lane. Education is his lane. That's why I say to you, it was never a scam from the beginning. And even at the very end, it can't be a scam because he can't go nowhere else. He's education. He's not athletic. He got his book. He's still going to deal with education. If he promote his book, he's promoting education. He's not going to be going all over the place knowing that he lost his school, he sold the school, and he's still traveling around. He needs something to push. There's no way in life he's not going to have the FDMG. He's FDMG for life. Okay, and that's what I want y'all to understand. So it's like, do he really want to open school? Just listen to him 8 minutes in. I'm like, yes, this nigga really want to open school, even to the second right now. I believe he do. There's nobody that really can say that to me that he don't. Because just listen to his story, and I look at him, and me being around him, and me listening to him as a therapist, he is still stuck in that childhood. Even though he's a man, even though he's whatever, his mind is still in that childhood. He's that child. He's that child that was back in the days in Maryland at the family reunion. That's still him. The Umar Johnson that you see that's got the keys for the school, that's trying to conduct the school, is that 12-year-old boy. Do you hear me? Like Queen Latifah shit. I messed it up though. Do you hear what I'm saying? Umar Johnson is that child. Is that little baby boy. And I want y'all to understand that shit. This is spooky because you guys hear him as such a eloquent speaker. But my greatest analyzation is that young man is that same child. That young man is that child right there. I really want you to understand that the Umar Johnson that you see at the age of 48, 49 is what you just see, and everything he does is because he's still that 12-year-old child. With no disrespect as I'm saying this, I'm really just saying he's that 12-year-old child. Whenever his father really departed out his life, that's where Umar is really stuck at.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now you're actually trying to own your own school or buy your own school? Like, explain that to me.
The Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy is a school that I conceived of a very long time ago, but began to actually put teeth into the creation of that school a couple of years ago. We're interested in acquiring the St. Paul's College, Lawrenceville, Virginia. It's an HBCU, closed down about 3 years ago, and it's just been sitting there unoccupied for 3 years. There's a $2 million price tag on that property. We've raised $700,000 over the past year and a half to try to acquire that property. However, although St. Paul's is still very much an interest of mine, I'm beginning to change my sights and start looking at other schools, because having sat for 3 years, obviously the quality of the upkeep is a concern. I had someone go and do an inspection on the school, a realtor who told me I would need to put at least $1 million into the property after I purchase it. So it's not looking as bright as an option as it used to. Still want it. If they called me today and said, listen, bring us that $700,000 and we'll work with you, I'm on my way. Make no mistake about it. But because they're not offering to work with me, I have to start exploring other opportunities, such as starting with a regular community school, 300 to 500 students, and then evolving into the residential academy that I want. But my concept is residential academy. I attended a residential academy, Scotland School for Veterans Children in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, which is now closed. So I understand the benefit of being able to control a child's entire environment.
I'm about to just end the live right there. I'm about to end the live. I just feel like I should just end the live right there because it saddens me. It saddens me to even go further because that's actually 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes in exactly. And it saddens me that as we got 10 minutes in as a psychiatrist right now, I'm hood psychiatrist. It's hood therapy. I'm telling you that he's living in that. He went back to say what I just said. Listen, I told you. Listen.
Academy, Scotland School, 500 students, and then evolving into the residential academy that I want. But my concept is residential academy. I attended a residential academy, Scotland School for Veterans Children in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, which is now closed. So I understand the benefit of being able to control a child's entire environment.
So whatever school he attended, like I say, he was so fascinated, like, yo, why we don't have this in the hood? And he says, I want to bring this to the hood. And people don't understand it. It's like if you never went away to college, if you never went away to school. My boy went to boarding school when it really depressed us because he was in high school. We was in high school together. We was in the same when we had homeroom together, and we was in junior high school together. We played baseball together. He lived right down the block from me. And then the second year in high school, his mom sent his ass all the way upstate to boarding school. I was third base, he was shortstop. My shortstop was gone. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And he was around nothing but the white kids. He had this one white homeboy that used to live in Martha's Vineyard. He used to go hang out with him for like the weekend, every other weekend. He'd go hang out with him. Like, what the fuck? And every time he'd come back with bag loads of white boy clothes, Tommy Hilfiger. Yeah, all the crazy Tommy Hilfiger shit because his white homeboy would give it to him that he met in boarding school. in Martha's Vineyard. We from Southside Jamaica, New York, moving downtown Brooklyn. At this time, he was moving downtown Brooklyn. Now he's all the way fucking in Martha's Vineyard with the white people. So when Umar's saying what he said, that he saw the school and he wanted to make that change, I want y'all to truly understand, like, we still in that young kid's dream. So when you say, do he want to open the school? Yes, he do. Now, if you heard what he said that he was going to get that school. Now, when I met him, he told me that, he really had that school. He said he was emphasized how he really wanted that school. But think about it. He says his realtor went in there. It was going to cost about $1 million for renovation. So if you already know in your mind that the school that you really wanted, you're not going to be able to get it because it's going to cost you renovations, you're going to know that you're going to have to put some renovations on any type of school. So the school that he got, whatever price he got it at, he knew that he was going to be able to have enough money for the renovations because it wasn't going to be that $1 million that they wanted for St. Paul's, but he knew that he could still get the renovation money because the people still supported. But the support went downhill because of this. Well, I don't know if I'm queued up right, so I'm just going to say the donation went downhill. But once again, he wanted to bring to his community of people the same shit that he's seen amongst the white people. And that's what everybody say when their dream is their dream. They was around the white people. They want to bring it to the people.
Well, that's interesting. You actually want to buy and control your own school. You don't see too many people that actually aspire to that.
No, many of us have fell for what I would call the charter school hustle or the charter school track. Charter schools have actually been on the rise concomitantly as we've seen a decline in African American independent schools. When charter schools were created in 1990, they were created so that white folk could take public money and educate white children in a school that legally could not be called private, but could pretty much operate as if it was private. So the charter school was a compromise. How do I defund public education without funding private education, since we have a separation of church and state clause in public education? So the charter school was that compromise. Once African Americans started getting involved, and of course, Philadelphia, I live where we have the largest amount of charter schools in the country. Philadelphia is some of the oldest ones. We also see a backlash against charter schools where they're shutting them down. And I always was not a big proponent of charter schools because I understood that if the state controls it and the state owns it, ultimately at the end of the day, if they want to put you out of business, they can. And that's exactly what they've been doing. We've seen more African American charter schools across the country.
Speaking of which, it's funny because before my boy who I was talking about, who was going to Martha's Vineyard, before he started going to the same school as me in junior high school, he was going to a charter school, an African charter school. It was a real small African school. It was right there in the heart of the South Side, Jamaica, Queens, on 116th and something, on the corner. And he used to go there, but that charter school got shut down. And this was like early 90s. So what he's talking about is facts. It's facts. Like I said, I'm just hearing this shit, but it's facts. Because my boy who I'm talking about, his mom, she studied to be a lawyer. His sister, she became a lawyer. She also became fluent in speaking Chinese, and she's a business lawyer. And so his mom was highly into education. And so when this fool go to high school, he decided not to be going to school and fucking up. She sent his ass to boarding school. I went to school and I continued school because I was nice in sports. He didn't make the varsity baseball team. I made the varsity baseball team, so he didn't really have much to really look forward to. He started hanging with the wrong person, just hanging out playing video games and cutting school playing video games. And she's like, yo, dude, don't you know I sent you out from an African school? You know I'm about this law. You know I'm about education. You playing games with me? So she sent his ass away. So, but the charter school that I'm talking about, the African charter school that, like Umar said, they will get shut down. They will not get no funding. You trying to do black schools, African schools, they would not get funded. All those African schools got shut down. My African poetry theater, they shut that shit down. Then man, look, folks, y'all playing games.
Be shut down between 2014 and 2015 than we've seen at any other period since charter schools were created. And there's normally three justifications they use to shut the doors on charter schools. One, financial mismanagement. It's $50 and a $2 million budget unaccounted for. And since we can't find the $50, we're taking your charter. Second, you don't have enough certified public school teachers. And so charter schools, when they first started, did not require that all teachers were certified. Now, many states are requiring 100% teacher certification. What is that doing to the African American male teacher population? It's shrinking it. So charter schools that once had 50 black male teachers, may only have 1 or 2. Charter schools that have an African foundation may now have predominantly white teachers teaching because they can't find enough African American teachers certified. And the third, biggest reason for what they use to justify shutting down black charters is low test scores. Your children are below basic. You don't have enough of them who are proficient. So we're going to put you into corrective action, AYP, 2 years. Test scores don't go up. We shut the door. But
You know what? My mom was just thinking, because I don't know what Lennon did back in the days. I don't know if Lennon did a show on this. But the same way I'm doing the show on this, you got Umar Johnson sitting down. And he's sitting down being interviewed. Just like the last thing Lennon showed, Umar sitting down being interviewed. Somebody pull up on him at the FDMG. He says that Umar Johnson always outside school. He spent about 20 minutes on that. He never inside the building. Okay, so here's another interview that Umar Johnson's not inside the building. He don't have the school right now. But did Lennon Arnold do any form of a breakdown of this? Did he talk about his unapologetic African shirt? I mean, did he do any breakdown of the Vlad TV interview? And probably, if he did, what did he really say? What could he really say? Because as I'm already like 12 minutes into this, I'm like, what am I? He's lying about the mom and he's lying about the Frederick Douglass. He's not related. And spend 20 minutes on that shit. Like I said, I just broke it down. If your father tells you something and you were like 12 years of age, you're not going to believe it. Did he take a test 10 years after that? No. Did he take a DNA test 20 years after that? No. He's like, really think about it. The DNA test did not come about until everybody on live, people on social media made a DNA test come out in this man's life. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yo, honestly, you guys don't know what type of impact you guys really have it on you. So when y'all guys was always asking me at the beginning, you guys was asking me all the time, like, what's up with Umar? Well, why are you support? I'm saying to myself, like, because you guys really made that nigga crazy. I'm gonna say it again. All his life of him knowing that he was, him assuming that he was related to Frederick Douglass, all his life, social media got his family to do a DNA test. Not only got his family, but got the family members of Frederick Douglass involved to do a DNA. Yo, but y'all don't think you have any effect on the FDMG? You think this is all because Umar Johnson, the 12 to 15-year-old boy, Umar Johnson, who's trying to run the FDMG school, you think that he is really destroying his own school? The 12, like I said, he's between the age of 12 to 18. Okay, he's Umar Johnson, who's trying to run the schools between the age of 12 to 18. And that's the Umar Johnson that y'all seen. Although he's it's like Big. He's like the movie Big. That's what Umar Johnson is. He's like Tom Hanks in the movie Big. But he's really what you see is not really him. It's really it's the young Umar Johnson. And y'all ridiculing that young boy. Y'all don't get it in his dreams. This shit is funny as hell.
Truth is, they're not shutting the door because of test scores. They're not shutting the doors because of money. And they're not shutting the doors because of teacher certs. They're shutting the doors because many of these African-American charter schools are in the middle of districts that have been targeted for gentrification. We need these black children out the way because this is supposed to be a strip mall. This is supposed to be a new corporate building. They have to go. So the powers that be work with the political structure and work with the school district to manipulate a lot of African-American charter schools out of existence. In Philadelphia, 3 black charter schools have been shut down this past year alone.
Going back to what I was saying, that man is dealing with the same situation with his FDMG. It's in the same everything. The picture that he just painted about gentrification, shopping mall, move up out. That's what it is with his school right now. And when I say, do he really want to open the school, for me to have to take him to court? To be honest, like I say, if he do not have humble pie, I don't think he would have that school next year. This year will be his last. If he don't get humble. I gave. I mean, this is from the time of him doing me was what December. It was November 2020. I said it was not going to open from. It's not going to be open no time soon. Next year, I said we got to get this money up. If this man, like I said, his possession, his demons is too overwhelming, and he can't humble himself after this whole situation, he will lose that school because of his words right here, what you just heard. I'm gonna let you hear his words again, because this is the way he's going to lose his school.
Now, I've seen some of the district to manipulate a lot of African-American charter schools. They have to go. Get it for gentrification. Teacher certs. They're shutting the doors because many of these African-American charter schools are in the middle of districts that have been targeted for gentrification. We need these black children out the way because this is supposed to be a strip mall. This is supposed to be a new corporate building. They have to go. So the powers that be work with the political structure and work with the school district to manipulate a lot of African-American charter schools out of existence. In Philadelphia, 3 black charter schools have been shut down this past year alone. Now, I've seen some of the talks you've had about the school that you're starting. Now, you want the school to be strictly African in terms of overall its focus?
Yes, the concept, the foundation will be Pan-African nationalism and the principles of African culture. I am a Garveyite, so we are revolutionary Pan-African nationalists, which basically means what? African self-determination in all things. Okay, if the Chinese have their own self-sustaining community, if Anglo-Saxons have their own self-sustaining community, if the Arab and the East Indian have their own self-sustaining community, we need ours as well. Our concept is what is to be done for black people must be done by black people. Legally, you cannot say that this school is only for black children, even if it is private. You are not allowed to discriminate in education on the basis of race. As you know, in 1954, Brown versus Board of Education decision said you cannot use race in education. So I can't say this is a black boy school. Okay, I know that 99.9%, if not 100% of my students will be African of African descent, but I cannot say that. Ironically, you can only discriminate on the basis of gender or sexuality in public school. So you can have an all-boys school, you can have an all-girls school, you can have an all-gay school, but you cannot have an all-black school.
You can have an all-gay school?
Oh, yes. Chicago has one. I also believe there's an academy here in New York that I think might be specifically for LBGT students to protect them from being bullied and such things. I just read an article. Atlanta, I believe they're starting an all LBGTQ charter school, I think.
Well, you made some comments about the type of school that you want started. You know, number one, since we're talking about the whole LGBT thing, you said that nobody that's, I guess, sexually confused is going to be allowed as a teacher in your school.
Yes.
Now let the games begin. This is the reason why people start attacking him. Now, like I say, you got this white man interviewing him, and he asks a great question, and his going to be his answer. His answer is going to be his answer, and his answer is what it is. As a straight man, as a straight man, if we don't be straight on the planes that we walking on, if we don't be straight to ourselves and serious with ourselves and serious with our words, we'll be conquered. Because we as men is man and woman, but we as men is really destroying ourselves, and then we being destroyed by everything. But we as black men don't even really even have a say to our destruction. So you're gonna have to put your foot down here and there. You're gonna have to really put your foot down. So like you said, you can't say that you have an all black school, but you can say that you got a school for confused people. And that's why so many people who's doing good with their shit is doing good, because they are sugarcoating everything for everyone else, as opposed to just standing on certain grounds. So if you know, okay, so if you stand on the ground that you know, okay, it's okay for whatever, okay, stay on those grounds, but don't be mad at the person because they stay on their grounds. Because I'm a straight dude.
That is correct.
Yo, look, it was always this dude. His name was Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee was a perv. To be honest, you know, I didn't know what pedophile was back then, you know, but I think he was actually a pedophile. He used to always wear the tightest pair of jeans, and he used to always be hard in the classroom. He used to always stand up in front of us and put his leg up on the chair and just be in front of the classroom and stand and teach right there in front of the girl table. So just imagine him as a sex offender. Now you have someone gay teaching. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, folks, you guys say what you want to say, but as warriors, now we can't have. It's not things this can be. That to this day, that bastard really, he makes me sick to my stomach to this day. And I was like, yo, this nigga's nasty. And I was only, I think it was in the 4th grade. Pervert, 1000%.
Now, that's going to be tricky as well. Why? Because you cannot discriminate in hiring on the basis of sexuality either. So, is it possible that someone who is sexually confused ends up getting hired at my school? I should hope I do all in my power to prevent such a thing from happening. Okay, but it is.
There's no sugarcoating. That was deep right there. I'm gonna try and do everything in my power to make it not happen, but it's not like I can discriminate. So mean that, you know, I can talk everything I need to do. See, that's why look, he said I have to do everything in my power to make it happen. So that means I'm going to talk about you where you don't want to put your resume. You don't want to be employed by me. Why would you want to be employed by me if you already know I don't fuck with you? So when the person say I'm gonna do everything in my power, he knows the only thing he really have in control of his power is his word. So if he can spread the rhetoric like I don't fuck with that shit, then that shit shouldn't want to fuck with him, and it should just be like that. No, yo, look, if I don't want to fuck with you and I don't fuck with you, I'm not going to bully my way for me to be fucking with you. I don't have to bully my way in your life for you to say, okay, I'm gonna fuck with you. Because if you don't want to fuck with me from the jump, why do I want to be getting a paycheck from you when you don't even want to fuck with me? Why would I want to fucking even be underneath your umbrella if you don't want to? Sorry for using the word fuck so much, but fuck with me. So for that whole movement to be on his words and be mad at him, and he already said he can't discriminate against you, but he don't want you to be there, and the only way he can make you not be there is by make you not want to be there. Why are you mad? Why would you even want to be there? Why wouldn't you just want to do what he's doing and just say, hey, we could do the same thing and let's open up our gay schools all across the board. See how that really go. See how the communities really accept that shit. But that's another problem. So what happened? This dude spoke about his degrees and his credentials, and some form of anger and animosity kicked in, and he started getting attacked. Then he spoke up about this, and then he had people coming to his events just to talk to and start fire with him. Why are you going to come to an event to start fire with a person if you know that you don't even have a place in your life? I want y'all to understand this shit. I'm sorry I'm eating, but every time I go live with you guys, I never eat. Or I make my food right before I go live. And then shit get cold. How many of you guys is like, what are you guys? You guys are a bunch of people who want to hang out with people who don't want you to be around? Like, I really hate the fact that we fought for integration. I really hate that. Once we started rising up, it's like, yo, we don't need shit. We good. We good. Once you start seeing white men coming and trying to take your baseball players from your Negro League, that's when you're supposed to know that we got the power. But you have sideline niggas always out there like, hey, yo, they want to be down. They looking at us now. Niggas like me, but like, yo, fuck them. If they coming over here, that means that we nice. Let's step up our game. But you got niggas like Coons who been like, yo, look, the scouts coming over here. They gonna come check us out. The scouts come check us out. Let me tell you a little bit about me. When I was in high school, I was a sophomore, but it was freshman, my first year there. And we played our preseason game, then we had our regular season game. This is the first game of the season. I told y'all a story before. I was working at Shea Stadium. It was going to be my first day, open day at Shea Stadium, and I had a baseball game with my high school team, my team. I chose to go, instead of me being all by myself and go get my money, I chose my team. I played third base. Off the rip, I got hit in the balls. I ain't have my cup on. I got hit in the balls. That shit fucking was fire. I thought I was going to die. Right during the practice warm-ups, my coach hit a line drive and it skinned right underneath my glove and hit my sack. Yo, shit was crazy. But my first at bat, I hit a home run. But I'm just trying to say this because you got people who don't care. The whole point and purpose, the scouts was out there. When we was driving in this van, everybody in the team was like, because I was basically the rookie. They was like, oh, you gonna get smoked. They was looking at everybody, oh, you gonna get smoked. Yo, they got their best pitcher today. The scouts gonna be there. Yo, you gonna get smoked. Yo, and I, these niggas following stats and really like, I was never really a person who did all the stat shit. I just made stats. You follow my stats and I just make them. And so I hit a home run. Because I'm that nigga on the sideline who say, nah, we gonna win. While everybody else on the sideline is all happy-go-lucky. Yo, they got scouts coming. They got scouts. Well, they got scouts coming. Well, the scouts gonna see some shit. After I hit that home run off that white boy, all the scouts packed up their shit and they left. So what I want you to understand is we got to stop throwing away our resources. We killing ourselves.
It's possible, but if that be the case, then I'm going to have to do something to reverse that. Because although I do not hate, or advocate harm against members of the LBGT community, I do not see that lifestyle in any way, shape, or form being in the best interest of African people.
Even if fuck him saying African people, he's opening his school. He says, I don't have no problem with no harm in him, but I just don't see that in my life. The school is his life. So if he don't see it in his life, that is not why you want to be part of his fucking life. And this is what I'm trying to tell us. It's time to grow up, boys and girls. It's really simple. If the man saying, I don't see that as part of my life, saying that's not my life. I don't go that way. I don't want you to wish no harm on you, but that's not just part of my life. And my life is Pan-African and I'm part of an African life. And I don't think that should be part of my life. I don't want to see it. So why are you trying to force yourself? Well, why not? Why not? Because I am straight, and this is the way I look at life. But why not? Why you can't respect? Respect it. I respect it outside the door, down the block, and out in my visual. Out of sight, out of mind. But people, like I say, you guys started attacking. Why? Because you had intelligence. Let me tell you something, folks. We have sports, we have entertainment, we have actors, we have all sorts of things, dancers and professionals and shit like that. And people idolize them. But when you have people who actually show some type of intelligence, people want to debate it. People want to question it. Or we always debate and question shit. I can't believe that I'm only 16 minutes into this video. I didn't get to the part I was trying to shut down at, and I'm already 2 hours and 20 minutes in. That's amazing. I'm not even seeing my chat people, whoever's out there. My bad if there's not that many people out here, so it's not stressing. I'm laying the video out for you folks. Don't be mad at me as you see this video. I just want y'all to understand just where it's at. I put together some notes. I'm trying to see my timeline because I had something on the timeline. Because I wanted to get to that where he was talking about the where he really started to lose money. But this shit, this is really deep right here. And you guys know, but you guys are acting like you don't know.
One of the misconceptions of my work is that I hate gays or I want to harm gays. But as a scholar who has more videos on YouTube than any other black scholar alive, I get invited to speak across the world more than any black scholar on the planet. You can't find anything in any message of mine where I've ever advocated harm or hurt against homosexuals. In fact, as a psychotherapist, I do therapy and have done therapy with homosexuals, and I can tell you that when it comes to suicide and low self-esteem and depression, they're at the top of the list for it. So even though I don't agree with the lifestyle, I can still validate the life of the person who practices the behavior.
But why do you say sexually confused as opposed to just gay?
I say sexually confused because in the African cultural construct, we believe that the universe was founded on an absolute balance of masculine and feminine energy, positive and negative, yin as well as yang. For every man, there's a woman. For every woman, that there is a man. We believe that complementarity, the balance or attraction of opposites, is what the universe is built upon. Every atom has a positive charge and a negative charge. It's what allows the universe to exist. For the sun, there is the moon. For water, there is for earth. For the masculine, there is for the feminine. So from an African perspective, and you will find this perspective very, very prevalent throughout the continent of Africa. Most of us as African people are not pro-homosexual. You don't find any evidence of any African civilization, traditionally speaking, where homosexuality was allowed, considered normal, or openly practiced. We cannot prove that no one was ever not gay, but we can prove that no African society ever legitimized the behavior as something that was to be accepted and practiced openly.
Well, you said that no black child is born gay.
Yes, I believe that. And of course, in psychology,
that apply to black children or just children in general?
I think it's children in general. And that's a big debate in the world of mental health. Psychiatry, psychology, are people born gay? Well, here's the question. Can behaviors be inherited? We know disease can be inherited. We know physical traits can be inherited. Okay, but inheriting a behavior, this comes from the eugenics. Francis Galton, who was Charles Darwin's cousin in London, came up with this movement called eugenics, which means good stock. It's from where Adolf Hitler in the United States of America and the other racist government sought to create a program of population control and extermination. He said that white people were genetically superior to everyone and that black people were genetically inferior to everyone. And he said that we need to selectively bring about the extermination of Africans by limiting their gene pool, and we need to selectively breed white people into a quote-unquote master race, which Adolf Hitler picked up and ran away with. Incidentally, I was in Hitler's birthplace last week in Austria speaking. But nonetheless, it was a psychologist who created the eugenics movement, and arguing that people are born gay supports the eugenics premise, because their idea is that all social problems of Black people are a direct result of defective DNA. They say if the Black man sells drugs, it was in his DNA. If he drops out of school, it was in his DNA. If the Black woman is unmarried with 6 or 7 children, it was in her DNA. They blame all social phenomena on genetics. Blaming genetics on homosexuality, from my perspective, is another way of trying to validate eugenics through the back door. I believe people are exposed to it. I believe that they can be manipulated into it. I believe that they can be socialized. For example, I've been a therapist for almost 20 years. I've met a lot of homosexual Black males in my work. 95% of the homosexual African-American men I've worked with and Latino were sexually violated as a child before the age of 12. Nearly everyone. So for me, I don't need to look at the studies from Harvard. I don't need to look at the studies from Yale. I don't need to look at the studies from the University of Pennsylvania. My experience, direct work with people in my community, makes it clear that the number one, it's not the only route to homosexuality, but the number one route to sexual confusion for Black males is molestation, pedophilia before the teenage years.
Now, the deepness of that, I'm going to take it to another level, ladies. In my study of life as her therapist, and I've been studying ladies, women that came into my life, about 78 to 85% of them was molested or raped. So like when you like, damn, why are you single? Because like I say, 75 to 80% of the females I came across was molested or raped. So they have a certain type of mental baggage. That was my personal analogy. I analyzed that years ago, way before this man, and I'm telling you, I heard the story over and over and over and over again. You hear this story, it's like, this is amazing. I couldn't be a therapist, like really a therapist on that super duper level, because it's like, whoa, it's scary. So you guys gotta understand, like, don't be so mad at the messenger because the messenger is delivering a real message. I ain't talking about me. I'm really talking about these individuals out here that like Umar. He's giving you a real strong message, and you guys gotta understand that message is deep. 85% of the females that I even know has been touched. Black Man Rise, original rebel. 85% of the females I've encountered has been touched, and I'm not even thinking just about females that I'm dealing with. I'm just thinking about women I just know. And you know, if you're sitting out there and this, you know or you're a victim as well, respect when men are really talking about these issues, because these are the Black issues that we have to talk about. We have to be man and woman enough to really talk about it so we can start eradicating it out of our souls. I remember I witnessed it as a child happening with somebody. I woke up and like, what the fuck? I was a child, and when I woke up and I checked it out, and you know, because like, I'm me, so like, then they backed off and put the it wasn't to me. Y'all better stop fucking playing.
Yeah, I mean, that's always the big debate, you know, in the gay community, is whether they were born that way or whether something happened or whether it was just a choice. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know. It's one of those things where I haven't been around enough children to really make my own conclusion. You know, I have heard from some of my friends that you sometimes see kids from a very young age start to have certain
effeminate traits,
you know, behaviors, you know, when you see boys doing kind of feminine type things.
But effeminization and homosexuality are different, though.
Yeah.
Word.
For example, in the schools where I work, there's a kid I can think of right now. He's very effeminate. He's 7 years old. His ways are very effeminate. Why? He has nothing but sisters at home. The father's not there. He's almost exclusively raised by the mother and the grandma. You become like that which you are around.
That's it.
So the mother will call me up and say, Dr. Johnson, my son is picking up my daughter's style. What is he supposed to do if he doesn't have any male playmates so he understands boys are socialized to play with different toys? So the mother is concerned that he may be homosexual. I'm telling her, your son at 7 or 8 years old isn't even thinking about sex. He's not even thinking about sex. This is not a case of a boy being gay at 7. This is a case of a young African-American male who's being socialized around women and is simply picking up their behavior traits. When he gets older and he's around more socialized to be around males, you will see his behavior may change. So it's very important that we don't confuse effeminate behavior, which is the outward manifestation of stereotypical female behavior traits, with homosexuality, which is a sexual attraction to someone of the same gender. 7-year-olds aren't sexually attracted to anyone.
Well, like recently we had a story about Young Thug, and what he said that when he was 12 years old, because his feet were so small, that he would wear like girls' like glittery shoes to school, and his dad would beat him over doing that, but he said he didn't care, he did it anyway. Now fast forward however many years, 10 years forward, or I don't know how old he is, but early 20s, Young Thug is wearing women's clothes on a regular basis.
Okay.
His latest album cover, he's wearing a full-blown dress.
Okay.
And he's doing Calvin Klein ads, wearing a dress and so forth. Like, when you look at that, are you saying that Young Thug could just like dressing in dresses and not be gay at all, based on what you're saying?
Oh yes, you can definitely cross-dress it.
Especially if you're being paid to push the agenda.
One of the diagnoses in psychology is this thing where people have this urge to dress like the opposite gender, but not necessarily be interested in living sexually as a member of the opposite gender. Now, going back to the scenario you just gave, and of course, I don't know Young Thug. I've never evaluated him or did therapy, but just based on what you said, his father beat him for wearing the high heels. He didn't explain to him why he shouldn't. He physically abused him. Okay? That is a form of emasculization. You understand? For a boy to be constantly physically abused by his father, that can lead to low self-esteem. That can lead to him questioning his efficiency or ability to operate his life as a man should, and by virtue of the verbal and physical abuse by his father, homosexual thoughts could have been triggered purely from that. So I'm seeing contextual variables that could have played a role into the brother ultimately taking on a homosexual lifestyle. But it wasn't the wearing of the shoes, and it wasn't the DNA, and it wasn't that he knew at such a young age that he would want to be gay. I think the father and the treatment of the son by the father may have triggered that. For example, I've come across cases of African-American boys who are verbally abused by the mother or the father, constantly told, what is wrong with you? Why are you not as good as I am? Why you don't want to play sports? Why are you acting like a girl? They're constantly told they're female. So guess what? They begin to shy away from their identity as a male because they've been told that it's insufficient. You will never be an effective male. So you automatically pull back. You start hanging around girls because you don't feel adequate around the boys. And it only takes one experience with a strong member of the sexually confused community to bring someone who's lonely, looking for a place to belong, to bring them on over. I see it in the high schools all the time. I'll see a kid, I say, this kid is weak and vulnerable. If that gang comes over here, okay, or if that person, that sexually confused individual beats them and takes them under their wing, they're going to end up having that experience, and it might change the rest of their life. It wasn't genetics. It was exposure, experience, socialization, and conditioning. Many people denial I'm aware of is people don't choose it. You choose whether you, at the same time, the point that I'm trying to make is if I admit that I wasn't born gay, and I can tell you, no man, black or white, wants to admit or discuss, no matter how young he was, the fact that another man took my innocence from me, especially when they were a virgin when the innocence was taken. This week's
an elementary school teacher, and she started posting her pictures that sort of exploded. You know, this time about social media at 10:30.
All right, here we go. Now this is where I want. I'm gonna end it off this right here.
So forth. One of the things that sort of exploded the other day on social media was there was a girl, a teacher, who was an elementary school teacher, and she started posting her pictures.
Oh no, not this shit.
On whether or not
you cannot come in here like this because her body gets to dress like that. It's because the under one or the other.
I'm actually skipping that, but that's actually good too.
Into this school across the country, there is no dress code for the teacher.
With the teacher, K-5 teacher. Second, out regular brute. The dress is that provocative. That's too catchy.
He's talking about the teacher that everybody was talking about in the dress and the shit with the thick body and stuff like that. And people probably got mad about that, telling them how women dressing.
That dress to work to that job. If you work on Wall Street,
1970, they systematically start removing all the industrial building trade programs from the inner city.
Like I said, I can't find my note. I had the timestamp, and I'm really upset with myself because I can't find the timestamp.
Unable to find a legal job, participate in the CIA's illegal economy. Mind you, all the factory jobs that were available
I'm going to leave it.
were shipped out of the inner city, even in North Philadelphia, where black male is care, can't get public housing, can't get student loans.
Now I want to find this shit.
A lot of them, the wives did not want the life. They come to accept it.
The part I'm trying to find right now is when he's talking about the stripper. Because when he's talking about the stripper is when Umar's life went really downhill. And when he really hit rock bottom mentally. And that's when...
Latino minorities. He's done nothing for African Americans. I cannot.
And that's when Umar Johnson really...
Black City Union back in my Millersville University days, we brought the Fugees up there. So I met Pride. Shout out to him. Okay? But that money should be going towards an institution.
I cannot believe I took notes. I can't find shit.
We have brothers out picking cotton and other crops with a white man on.
Because I wanted to end right there.
The government's agenda to get rid of.
And I can't remember exactly where it's at, which sucks.
But what's your take on Kaepernick? And
fuck all that stupid shit.
You are going to be in a very different place than when you have a bunch of employees around you that know at any moment if they upset you, they're fired. They're not going to give you the same level of advice and no truth.
Well, folks, I'm sorry.
It's hard to choose them now because you never know the ulterior motives. And that's just for me.
I think it's right here. It's right here. I found it. I found it.
In the school, he's extremely popular. I know he can. Women may want the package, but not the personality.
It's right here. I finally found it.
Behaviors that are less than acceptable to the rest of us. They don't shine a light when they do positive things in the community. They don't shine a light.
Getting into fights, they're getting into social media wars and so forth. The type of people that you see doing this over and over again, the one thing that they seem to have in common is that none of them are ever married.
Okay.
And the thing is that when you have someone in a powerful position and you don't have a wife or a very strong partner that's willing to give you their opinion with zero ulterior motives, you are going to be in a very different place than when you have a bunch of employees around you that know at any moment if they upset you, they're fired. They're not going to give you the same level of advice, and no true success can come from one person. It always comes from a team.
I agree.
So you have these situations because when you look at, for example, the Jay-Z's of the world, you look at
blackface, and added to this, is the fact that black women in America are the least likely to get married. Black women, only 1 out of 4 will get married. When I went to college, most of the white girls were married before we graduated. The black girls, some of them in their 40s, still not married. Most of this has to do with America's war against the black man that incarcerates and exterminates. But some of this also has to do with the fact that us educated black men, once we get our doctorate degrees, our advanced master's degrees, we think we're too good for the black woman, and we run out and go marry someone else's daughter. And then we bring a child into this world who's biracial, who, for my purposes, is an African. I don't play biraciality. If your mother is black or your father is black, you're African, because there is no 50-50 mix. The African is genetically dominant. We're not superior to no one, but we are genetically dominant. So that's an African child. I don't get into that. But working with biracial children, they go through a lot of psychological conflicts because you're half black and half white. You belong to the two most adversarial, dichotomous races on the planet, and you constantly have to navigate where you belong at. Even if you speak to biracial brothers in the hip-hop industry, as swaggerlicious as they can be, when you sit down and have a conversation with a lot of them, they will tell you about the conflicts they had along the way arriving at their African identity. And
I'm just going to go through the chat. I didn't find this part I wanted to find. I'm very upset. I'm tired of hearing Umar myself personally. I'm tired of this nigga. Although, you know, it's very interesting listening to him because he kicks facts, yo. Who's needed? Leonard Honor as the Howard Stern of the sector, or Umar Johnson as the Booker T. Washington? You know, who's really needed right now? Who we need right now? Let's make a choice. You can do it after tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do tomorrow's live. We're gonna do the same as what we're doing with this tape right here with Umar. We're gonna do the breakdown of Leonard Johnson. I mean Leonard Honor, Leonard Johnson. Haha. But you know what I'm saying? It's very important for us to do this breakdown because you guys gotta understand. Do Umar Johnson really want to open up this school? And do Leonard Honor really want to work his job? Do he really want to graduate from school and really do work? Or do he just want to sit on the internet and really just entertain the folks? Do Leonard Honor really want to be a musician? You know what I'm saying? We got to ask these questions. He's taking money. He's buying his stuff. You know what I'm saying? Look, think about it, folks. Your super chat's buying him his studio. We need to see what he's doing with his studio. He got his studio in the background all the time. He always playing and talking about shit. What is he really doing with his studio? What is he doing with y'all money that y'all invested into this entertainer? You know, and I'll say that, you know, humbly. I really wish I could have found that shit. Well,
mind you, all the factory jobs that were available.
Okay, well, look, he said something about she caused him to lose $1 million, right? And he said he was about to do an event. He was about to speak to some young kids. And he read the text message. And right before he was about to go live with the kids and speak to the kids, you know, he read the text message and the lady came and said, yo, we ready for you. And he needed like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you know, for himself, you know, so he can gather himself because he said he was broken. Folks, if you win the lottery and you lose your ticket, how you going to feel? If he would have got that $1 million donation from whoever the person was, and if he would have opened up that school back in 2016, or if he would have got a school in 2016, 2017, where would we be right now? What would everybody be talking about right now? But what they did was they had some agents. We have agents, and this is why I'm scared about witches. I'm scared about females. I'm scared about females because I don't trust every female. I don't trust people, but women scare the shit out of me because that's my weakness. I love women. Okay, as a man, when you love women and it's your weakness, you gotta fear it because it's like, yo, damn, man, you know you can kill yourself any day, whether you get AIDS, whether you get a chick pregnant, now you done deaded yourself for life. You know what I'm saying? There's so many ways that you can kill yourself because your lust. And so Umar got caught in the world don't even get it. If that woman was really not about anything else, if she was really about class, social media would not know about her and his personal life. And then he even said, to this day, he don't know what the shit was all about. You know what I'm saying? What was it all about? Was she an agent? I'm really want to know, was this woman an agent? Did somebody, okay, I'm going to put it to you like this. Did someone pay her? Did someone really pay her? If she was a stripper, if she was a stripper in her life, it's easy to pay a stripper to do certain things. It's easy to pay a prostitute to do things. Was she paid just to do what she did? And that's what is scary, because I want to know. I want to know that right there. Was this woman a real agent? Was she paid to do this? And like he said, she came out with a book. Was somebody out there and they was out in the strip club and they was like, yo, I want to give you this money. You see how they always giving cash apps to do shit? Did they really pay this woman a few $1,000s to lure this man in? Was that even her son? He said that she was with her son. Was that even her child? Because after this downfall is when I met him. And when he said to me, he says, yo, after he says, like, my donations went down, he said everything was going really, really good up until that whole stripper shit. He said, but once that stripper thing took place, he said that his donations went down rapidly. He said it really started declining. Because I asked him, I said, yo, so how you doing? Everything's all right? And he gave me a look. And then that's when the therapy took place. We was driving to Brooklyn. And that's when the therapy took place. And I really seen his eyes like, damn, this shit's really fucking me up. And like I said, I didn't know he lost $1 million. I wasn't paying attention like that. Trust me, folks, I didn't know he lost $1 million that would happen. Now, you guys probably would say that, it didn't happen. But that's when he was on fire. That's when people was really just looking at him. If Anti-Afro wasn't on him about his credentials, he probably got a few $1 million donated. He would have had that school way open a long time ago. I'm telling y'all a straight fact now, okay? Anti-Afro and Leonard Honor is the reason. It's not because of Umar Johnson. It's because of Anti-Afro and Leonard Honor is the reason why he don't have the school. And that was their role. Their role was to do exactly what they did. So it's not like I'm saying anything that take any I'm not trying to take no flowers from you. Because whatever you went out to do, you actually really did it. Whatever damage y'all wanted to do, you guys did a hell of a motherfucking you put a hole in this shit. You did a great job. And from day one all the way to this present day, the purpose that y'all been living in, you did a great job. But y'all not doing a great job for a good purpose. And that's what I'm saying. I'm looking for people to start doing a great job for a good purpose. Me analyzing this video right here, me asking the question, did Umar Johnson really want to open the school? And do Umar Johnson want to open the school? If Umar Johnson if Ice Cube was to donate $1 million to Umar right now, and then also say he's willing to do a fundraising event, basketball tournament, saying, and do a fundraiser with the basketball players. If Ice Cube was to do that, Umar Johnson's open that school and he's running wild. He's going to really shine. If he can get that, if he can really just get the big donations, because see, you gotta understand one thing. He been getting the small donations. One of his biggest donations was maybe $5,000. But he's been getting the small people donation, $100, $200, $400, $500. He's been getting a small donation. I'm gonna say that again. I really do appreciate anything I get. Anybody who gives me anything. But do you know what my definition of what a small donation is when you talk about building an institution? A small donation is 500 and less, $1,000 and less. That's a small donation. That's in the small donation bracket. From $1 to $1,000, that's small donation. Because in the world you have so many different types of people. Small donation is from $1 to $1,000. We talk about building. We talk about building, folks. We talk about building. Come on, let's get our big pants on. We ain't talk about build, ante up shit for a bag of weed. We ain't anteing up for a nickel bag of weed. Okay, folks? We not anteing up for a nickel bag of weed. They don't even sell nickel bags of weed. Well, some that's they do. But we're not anteing up for a nickel bag of weed. We're anteing up to build a nation. Small donation is from $1 to $1,000. That's a small. Realistically, small donations from $1 to $10,000. As you say that, so a person who can throw $10,000, well, I got small donation. I can throw 10,000. And you sitting there like, damn, I had $100. Oh shit, that's small donation, 10,000. Okay, let me get. I got $150. Because what you might think is small donation, the person who have bigger money would say that's nothing. So when the person say, if you gave 10, you gotta give 20. Respect this shit. Because you gave 10 don't mean that you just stay giving 10 all the time. Matter of fact, let's take it to the drug game. If you the bud person, you have one customer, and they always come in $10 and they hit you on the phone. Yo, man, what you doing? It's like fucking 10:30 at night, and they talk about they want a dime bag. They want you to come bring it to them. Are you going to rush to go bring them the dime when you got 10 people who's hitting your phone up and they want quarter pounds? And I say this because I want y'all to understand from all levels. Like, we don't have to always just keep this real professional, because there's a lot of weed smokers out there. You ain't thinking about that $10. You will appreciate the $10. You when I say you not thinking about it, you are thinking about it, because you like, damn, do I really want to go out there and go get this $10? So you thinking about it. But it's like, I'm playing this game, I'm chilling with my shorty. It's a little cold outside. It's 10:30. If you hit me at 9, maybe I would have went to go get it. But now if it was $25, you're gonna go. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Y'all got to elevate your mind. Elevate your thinking. That school would have been up and going. From now, if Umar get a case of humble pie, and he can get the big donors to kick in, the FDMG will open. Okay. Like I say, the only way the FDMG will open is if Mr. Umar Johnson humbles himself throughout this situation. Even if we go to court, see, we're going to have to go to court for the humility to happen. But after the court case, he humbles himself, he can open those doors. I would take the curse off him. Thank y'all for your listening ears. I'm gonna scan through this thing right here, see if anybody said anything I didn't see. You know, I wasn't even looking. And like I said, I really wanted to hear about the freaking stripper. Really pissed me off.
As a black person, white mothers, in my experience, are less honest than white fathers. White fathers will tell their biracial child, "You African," and I want you to understand that, because that's how the world is. Grandparents, black and white, who was able to earn a decent living with a high school trade education. They took all them out in the 70s at the end of the Black Power movement on purpose to make sure independent black laborers could not finance the Black Power movement. And then in 1980, the CIA drops the crack cocaine off.
Ty the Short, what's up, Ty?
Find a legal job, participate in the CIA's illegal.
I'm like mad late, right?
All the factory jobs
What the heck?
Out of the inner city. Even in North Philadelphia, where I live, you drive around, nothing but abandoned factories. They moved them out to create a context.
And it's funny. He said them Amish people kind of cool. Of course, they probably cool. That's probably why he stayed out there. He probably stayed out there because he probably came across a couple of them cool white Amish people. He's probably hanging out with them. You know what I'm saying? Word. You're right about that. You're right about that. Thanks for your listening. I'm really, like I said, when I say I'm upset.
So up to fifth grade. Okay, up to fifth, I might not have a problem with that up to fifth. If she's middle school, could be argued that if I was working at a regular routine business, I could wear this to work. But
damn tight.
To set his life aright, can't get have a relationship with a white person, an Asian person.
All right, folks.
Blackface. And added to this
Peace.
is the fact that black women in America are the.
What do y'all think, though? What's your opinion before I leave and let this live go? I'm gonna ask you guys who's watching this. You know, you might not be watching it live. I doubt if you're gonna be watching it live when I say this and hang up. But you're gonna watch the live stream, and the question goes to you. You can leave it in the comment. My question to you is: do you think that Umar wanted from day one to open the school? And then at the very end of the day, like right now, 2022, do you think that Umar Johnson wants to open the school? And don't just say yes, no, hell no. Say why. You say that he do want to open the school, or two, why you say he don't want to open the school. Me myself personally, I only say he do want to open school because as I look at the timeline, I can see what really happened of how everything really transpired to where he's at a point where he's his worst enemy. At the time of him speaking, the only reason why he was his worst enemy because we wasn't listening with our best ears. We was listening with the emotion. Most of you was listening with the emotional ears, and you was allowing emotional people to lead you. But yet and still, you wasn't listening with your revolutionary ears. And so that is, like I told the dude, I said, the people not really ready for this type of shit. You really got to give them teaspoons. I told him he got to give them teaspoons. And I told him this when I met him, 2016. You folks really got to be fed baby spoons. I'm sorry to hear that, but we don't have the time for that shit. So you're going to have to, the same way they fed the slaves back in the days, when the slaves were trying not to eat, and they turned them over and they shoved that shit down their throat, their little funnel, and they throwing all that nasty shit in their mouths. That's what basically has to happen with most of our people. Most of the people that's on the sideline, they really have to get this food no matter what. Otherwise, they just have to get off the block. I wish it wasn't that way, but that's the way it is, folks. That's the way it is, and it's nothing we can do about it. It's something we can do about it. And right now, you really have to wake up, and you have to have a certain type of love for yourself. And you have to have love for your people.
Do this. Would you have done this? Married a man who you knew would be assassinated, because you never know the ulterior motives, and that's just for me. I'm not the multi-million-dollar rapper, actor, but it's a biased behavior of the media. But I agree with you. Marriage does calm you down. But if you are a motive, often women may want the package, but not the know that for a lot of women, this man is walking the same path. Are you getting with Dr. Umar so he can hope to be given this responsibility? I would have had my wife before him. I would have made sure I had her. Someone would have came to me and said, listen, 2009, your career is going to go to a whole other place. You're going to be used to try to do something important for your people. I would have found a wife. It's hard to choose them now because you never know the ulterior motives. And that's just for me. I'm not the multi-million-dollar rapper, actor. For them, I know it got to be even worse.
Well, yeah, I mean, J. Cole married his high school sweetheart.
Thank you for your listening. Y'all support. I really want to find this shit, to be honest. I'm trying to stall out.
Sometimes it has to be a call. I think women. I think some of these women. I think Coretta Scott King, Betty Shabazz.
And like I said, this is a really good interview, and I really want to break it down more. So I will be back on this shit, and I will have everything timed up and lined up. Damn, where the fuck is that stripper shoe? Oh, here you go. I found it.
Punish the ones who die for us. It's one of
And I love the way Vlad set it up. He set it real good.
Well, you had a situation a while back where this woman who called herself the conscious stripper, I guess put you on blast. Like, what was that whole situation about?
It's a whole situation. It was a sister that I met. Okay, very beautiful. I met her down in Florida, Marcus Garvey celebration. I was the keynote. My Rastafari brothers hosted the event. Ironically, asking me this because I was just in Jamaica 2 weeks ago to keynote the Marcus Garvey celebration, and the same brothers brought me there. Shout out to Priest Dougie. And so I met her. I was signing books and taking pictures at the end of my lecture. I think it was Black History Month or Kwanzaa. It was 2014, and she waited by the side for me. At the biased behavior of the media. But I agree with you. Marriage does calm you down. Choice. Because you knew her before the thing.
As Malcolm X's daughter recently, she talked about.
Who ignore us and punish the anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court.
I pressed the wrong button by accident.
Graduation for a friend of mine.
And he's really nervous. You can tell right now. He's real nervous right now.
Ironically, asking me this because I was just in Jamaica 2 weeks ago to keynote the Marcus Garvey celebration. Black History Month or Kwanzaa. It was 2014. And,
that's why I paused it. He says 2014 because I'm trying to put the timestamp together. Okay, so the year is 2014. 2009, he said it out there on this one right here. He said 2009, but 2009 is probably the year that the mission started. But let's say around 2010, you know what I'm saying, he had some donation money coming in. But we're not even going to say, I think maybe it wasn't even he had everything situated. Maybe he had cash up. He probably was still getting his cash up. But maybe he didn't have the FDMG. Did he have the FDMG already lined up where people was donate straight to that? I don't know. I wasn't donating. I don't know, folks. But was it FDMG that the people were sending the cash up to, or was it still him? Because I think until it turned to FDMG, he's not claiming it until it turned to FDMG. You understand what I'm saying? So if you guys were donating to him, it was going to his cash app. He's not counting FDMG fundraising until FDMG was receiving funds. That's the only way I'm looking at it. But it's 2014, and he meets the stripper chick.
Very beautiful woman with her son came up after. You know, she introduced herself, said, "I'm a homeschooling mom. I'm trying to start a home."
His voice is real low.
What you do? And I'm from Philly. I said, "Really? You from Philly? I'm from Philly." He says, "Yeah." I said, "When you come up, let's connect," which we did. And then on May 17th, the anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court decision, I'm at a graduation for a friend of mine, Spelman College, down in Atlanta with her family. And all of a sudden, social network went crazy. And to this day, and of course that was 2 years ago, but to this day, I still don't know what the motive was. We never had an argument. I don't know why that happened to this very day. I don't know if she was sent to do that. I don't know if there was something I did that she felt disrespected her. I don't know what the motive is to this day, but it happened, and it made me even more quote unquote paranoid about getting to meet women, because you never know what they're going to do the day after they meet you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one of the things that I guess she claimed was that you had lost a $1 million donation from an NBA player.
I did, and I can tell you that.
Oh, so that's actually true.
Oh, it's very true. It's very true. I was contacted by a relative of one of our top 5 NBA basketball players. Okay, I don't want to call his name because I really appreciated him even considering to do this, given who I am. And we were in talks for a couple of weeks, talking back and forth. We know about you. We got the book. We moving. That whole thing dropped with her. I'm in Washington, D.C. I'll never forget it. I'm about to speak at a juvenile detention center's conference. I'm backstage. I get the email. I'm sorry to tell you this, but he cannot be associated with that type of energy or whatever it was. He won't be able to get a donation. Soon as I read the text, they came and said, "The kids are ready for you." I couldn't even get out my seat. I had to take about 5-10 minutes to get myself ready. I was about to cry. I was going to cry. I just lost $1 million because of bad decisions. Now, there's the chance that they wasn't going to give me the money and simply use that as an excuse. That's always a possibility. Be that as it may, the bottom line was I would have never even known if that was the truth had this never happened. So it did cost me the $1 million delay. I was this close. And that dropped right before they was going to make the decision. One of the most unfortunate things, I'll never forget it because of when I find out, right before I go talk to some young people. And that's when I saw it. I wish I never checked that text right there because it messed my whole day up.
So you've never talked to her or anything else like that after the
No,
after the fact?
she sent me a couple text messages. This would probably be, I want to say, a couple months post scandal, because again, that was 2 years ago almost. But I didn't respond because I anticipated that was more of a setup, because I heard she was working on a book and all this other stuff, which was quite interesting since only saw you 3 times in the same week. 3 times in the same week. What book can you write off of 3 times in 7 to 9 days? So, but nonetheless, you know, I still hear she's out there lurking. She's still befriending people who know me. It ain't over. Oh, she's not done. I thought she was. She's not. She's done. But all I can say is I don't hold it against her. I made the bad decision. I take full responsibility for that. I just have to try to choose better.
Today's episode of the Vlad Cast is brought to you by Uber. We've all taken Uber on work.
And on that note, I feel much better now because I found what I was looking for. From his mouth to Vlad's mouth, to Vlad's ears to our ears. You heard that years ago. You heard him. You know the story. That happened in 2014. The interview was 2016. It was still going on. If I'm not mistaken, it was kind of weird because when I was sitting in the school, he was having the event, the Black Parents Advocate and shit. Some chick came up in there. She had blonde hair and everything. She came up in there. You know, she looked like, to me, I thought it was a chick. I never seen the concert stripper, but I felt it was her because it's like he got nervous and he just stopped everything, and she was just there and she was just like intimidating and everything, and he just like went over to her and stopped his whole lecture and started just talking to her. And she wasn't there for the lecture. It's like she pulled up and popped up. So like he said, no, it's not over. 2019, I could have sworn it was her. Maybe it wasn't, but it might have been her. But my whole thing is, who is that woman and why is she coming to this man's life? And look what she really did. Because she technically is another reason why that school's not open. So you ask yourself, do he want to open school? And you have to answer that question. You can drop it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that Umar really want to open school or not? And you do a breakdown. Like I said, I'm watching this Vlad TV. I'm just watching this. It's not my interview. It's his interview in 2016. And I'm going from this. I'm going from his words. I'm not going from no other man's words. I'm not going from no other man's assumptions. I'm going from the timeline and breakdown from this man, from him being a child all the way to here. And I'm listening with comprehension and understanding. And I'm telling you that we destroy each other. Thank you for your listen here, your support. Ladies, gentlemen, y'all all have a good night. If you're still here, Tina, thanks for tuning in. Tab, you're still here. Thank you for tuning in. Slew, thanks for tuning in. Good looks. Your band and B, you know what I'm saying? Good looks, you know what I'm saying? Good. Thank y'all for tuning in. The Zone. You, good looks for tuning in. That's my bike. Holla back at your boy. Y'all all have a beautiful night. Peace.